filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse, mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me, like told me, keep on running toes, they gon' take them. Refuse to lose, built to win. Apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win, yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win. Apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse.
Welcome back to CTC. I'm your gracious host, Carl, and I'm back with another episode. And today we are going to preview the last power conference, and that is the SEC. Hey man, you see my name to fall off because are they still the best conference in college football? Some people saying it's the Big Ten. They won the last 3 national championships. It's a debate. It's a toss-up at this point, but I'm not here alone. Today, I got my boy. He was with me last year on the SEC preview. Texas fan. You know, I'm repping South Carolina. Definitely repping South Carolina. But without further ado, I got my boy Joe. Say what up to the people, Joe. Joe, you're frozen. Your screen is black. I don't know what happened. And you're muted. Joe, you might need to leave and come back. I don't know. Wait, there you go. I don't know what's going on.
There we go. That's better.
There we go. Yeah,
I
there
don't know
we
what
go.
just happened, man, but what's up? We here.
Yes, sir.
SEC preview. And yes, Carl, this is the best conference in college football. Doing this preview, it's a lot of heavy hitters in this conference, man. So, I mean, certain conferences, they top heavy. I know they went in, in the last 3 years, I believe, top heavy. But this conference, top to bottom, almost.
No, well, I was about to say, because you got a bottom feeder for sure.
We definitely got some bottom feeders, but the back is it's strong.
I don't know, Joe. You went kind of in and out there, man. I hope the Wi-Fi stays strong with us because we got a long episode. And now I'm echoing. But anyway, boom. So we got Joe repping Texas, me repping South Carolina. Without further ado, well, let's get to the comments. We got Javon, my boy Vaughn, who just went live on RBO. Shout out to him in the comment with the 5 emojis. And we got a Turpin fan, Tomo. I don't know what LSU takeover he talking about. Salute to my boy Tomo in the Maryland Terps. But before we get started, Joe, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, man. It helps the channel a lot. So please do one of those few things for me. It's definitely appreciated. Now we can get into it, and we can start with the Alabama Roll Tide, Joe. I think you might be frozen again.
Yeah, but you can hear me though, right?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you for sure froze. Right. But we're going to start with the Roll Tide, man. Alabama made the playoffs last year under Kalen DeBoer. Your boy Ryan Grubb, who's still the OC, they had a terrible, and I mean terrible, run game last year. Could not establish the run at all, and that was ultimately the downfall of Alabama. Now they did, in spite of all that, make an SEC championship game appearance where they lost 28-7 to Georgia. But in the playoffs, they came back and beat Oklahoma. They wrote that wrong because they lost to Oklahoma in the regular season. That game looked atrocious. Came back, wrote that wrong in the first round of the college football playoffs in Norman. So that was a big win. But then absolutely got the doors blew off them against Indiana, which I mean, only one team in the playoffs and get the doors blown off them in Indiana against Indiana, and that was the Miami Hurricanes. I'm not counting the Big Ten championship. So before an Ohio State fan come in and be like, they ain't blow the doors off us in the Big Ten, I said the playoffs, not postseason. Because the championship week is not the regular season, it's kind of the postseason. But yeah, they finished 10-2, 7-1 last year. Again, beating Georgia in the regular season, but losing to them in the SEC championship. Joe, talk to me about Bama a little bit.
See, the thing about Bama, we still don't know who they starting QB is. They I don't think the head coach announced that yet. So that got something to do with the prediction, because you got one QB, Austin Mack, who's been there. He know the offense, all that stuff. But then you got the more talented guy, Keelan Russell.
Yes, sir.
Well, I think it's like a fan favorite based on what I've been hearing. So we don't know who the star quarterback is. But the run game, like you said, the run game has been an issue. And that's been an issue since Nick Saban. You go back to all the Nick Saban days, they had a great running game. And last year, they were just 100 yards per game type running team. When they usually go over 200 a game when they're winning. So that's the big question mark for me for Alabama. But, that's Alabama,
Yeah, speaking of, man, you had your Derrick Henrys, your TJ Yeldons, your Eddie Lacy's, your Trent Richardsons, your Mark Andrews. I mean, not Mark Andrews. Oh, my Lord.
I'm about to say.
Not Mark Andrews. Mark Ingram's my fault. Mark Ingram's. Because I think Mark Ingram actually sparked the whole running back wave at Alabama with the Heisman and all that. I said Mark Andrews. My Lord. I'm a Rangers fan, y'all. Charge it to the NFL. But Mark Ingram and many more of Alabama running backs. I mean, even Najee Harris at Alabama. I know his NFL career ain't going how we all thought it would, but Alabama, he was like that. So definitely had backs at Bama for sure. But yeah, like you said, man, there's a quarterback battle going on here at Bama between Austin Mack, the vet, and Keelan Russell, the sophomore. I know Kalen Russell, excuse me. I know a lot of people talk about Kalen Russell having all the arm talent in the world, like you said earlier. And to me, that's probably my favorite to win the quarterback battle, to be honest, because I just feel like with the way Kalen DeBoer plays with passing the ball a ton, I feel like Kalen Russell would be the guy to get the ball to the weapons on the outside on the perimeter. So I believe Kalen Russell is going to win that battle. But we got to talk about players returning to the Alabama Crimson Tide, and none other than a guy who needs to get it together this year, because last year he was in his own head a ton, I would say. And that's Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams at receiver. And I said this his freshman year. I always felt like it was guys like Cam Coleman who didn't get talked about as much. I know as great as Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams were, and I know Cam Coleman's in Texas. We'll get to that later. But I've always said that Nick Marsh is another guy. Was said he's gone, but another freshman I talked about for sure. And then Ryan Williams with the disappointing year last year. 49 catches, 689 yards, and 4 touchdowns with a ton of drops. So definitely need to shake back his junior season. But they returned, like I said, 7 starters, 3 on offense, 2 of them being O-linemen, and then 4 on defense. The defensive starters returning are Keon Saab at safety, which I ain't going to lie, I was surprised he's still there. He's been there for a minute, and he was at Michigan before Alabama. But Keon Saab with 52 total tackles, 28 solos, a sack, 3 pass breakups, and a pick. Bray Hubbard, a defensive back with 74 total tackles, 47 solos, 2 sacks, 8 pass breakups, 4 picks, and 3 forced fumbles. Jonze Pierre, a linebacker with 52 total tackles, 39 solos, 8 sacks, a pass breakup, and 3 forced fumbles. And Xavier Brown, a defensive back with 39 total tackles, 26 solos, 5 pass breakups, 2 picks, 2 pick sixes. So both picks were pick sixes, and a forced fumble. Now, they lost a lot. As like I said earlier, they lost Ty Simpson, who surprisingly won the first round to the Rams. Quarterback with 305 of 473, 64.5% completion percentage, 3,556 yards. 3,567 yards, 28 touchdowns to 5 picks. Jam Miller, a running back who went to the Patriots, 130 carries, 504 yards, 3.9 carry, and 3 touchdowns. Jeremy Bernard, who went to the Ops, the Steelers, a receiver with 64 catches, 862 yards, and touchdowns. He also had 101 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns as well. Isaiah Horton, who went to Texas A&M, who we'll talk about later, a receiver who had 42 catches, 511 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Josh Cuevas, a tight end who went to the Ravens, who had 37 catches, 411 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Deontay Lawson, a linebacker to the Eagles, 80 total tackles, 45 solos, a sack and a half, 4 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries. Justin Jefferson, a linebacker to the Browns, 79 total tackles, 48 solos, 3 sacks, 5 pass breakups, a pick, and a forced fumble. Nakai Greenhill, a linebacker who went to the Rams, 54 total tackles, 33 solos, 3 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, fumble recovery. LT Overton, an edge rusher on the Cowboys, 40 total tackles, 25 solos, 4 sacks, and a pass breakup. Damani Jackson, a cornerback who went to the Packers, 38 total tackles, 26 solos, and a pass breakup. James Smith, a D tackle who went to Ohio State with 26 total tackles, 16 solos, 2.5 sacks, and a pass defended. And Tim Keene, a D tackle who went to the Rams with 16 total tackles, 11 solos, 2 sacks, a pass defended, forced fumble, and 2 fumble recoveries. So again, man, Alabama still they churning out NFL talent at Alabama in spite of Nick Saban being gone. But talk to me about Alabama, Joe.
I mean, when it comes to Alabama, when I'm looking at it as an offensive line, I see 3 out of their 5 starters are back. And, like with the run game we just talked about, that's like the missing piece for this team. I'm keeping an eye on them. And 2 of their starters. Huh?
3 gone, 2 back.
3 gone and 2 back.
Olana.
Okay. I see. So, okay. Which ones are the new ones?
I know what's his face. Caden Proctor left, the left tackle.
I
think left tackle.
You know what? I'm sorry. I did this last year. So 3 of their starters were there last year. Let me say
okay,
that.
Got you.
Yeah. I did this last year. And 2 of their starters were 2 redshirted. Their center, their Gotti and James, they right tackle. So that's my main thing with Alabama is the O-line in the run game. So I'm keeping an eye on that because I think that's gonna make or break their season for real.
Yeah, 100%. If Ryan Grubb and Kenneth DeBoer, which I mean, Grubb was with DeBoer at Washington when they made the national championship. If they can figure out a run game, Bama could be dangerous and back to Bama of old. Let's get into some of the transfers. So Alabama, still Bama, 4th overall in recruiting, 18th overall in transfers with 17 transfers, 6 of these transfers being O-linemen. They bring in Noah Rogers, a receiver from NC State, which, man, he had a good season last year. 33 catches for 441 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he wasn't even like a top receiver for them. So that's pretty solid. Being behind guys like Justin Jolie at tight end and Terrell Anderson at receiver and stuff like that. So I feel like that was a solid season. They bring in Caleb Woodson, a linebacker from Virginia Tech, with 57 total tackles, 26 solos, and a pass breakup. And Devon Tompkins, a D lineman from USC, 31 total tackles, 18 solos, 3 sacks, 2 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. Any transfers you wanted to go over, Joe?
I mean, the ones I talked about was an offensive lineman, but outside of Caleb Woodson and Bingley Jones, a lot of these transfers are not starters. So a lot of these transfers are death pieces. So I'm ready to get to the schedule because.
All right, before we get into the schedule, I got some numbers from last year because they have their whole coaching staff back. They were 82nd in total offense, 13th in total defense, 50th in scoring offense, 20th in scoring defense, 27th in passing, 9th in pass defense, 123rd out of 134 schools in rushing, 37th in rush defense, 46 in third down conversion on offense, 49th on third down conversion on defense, so getting off the field, tied 39th in red zone, which was surprisingly high for me for a team that can't run the ball, and 25th in red zone defense. Now I want to clear this up too before somebody say, "Oh, they lost their quarterback coach." When I say they got their coaching staff, I mean they OC, DC, and head coach. But yeah, we could get into the schedule, Joe, if you're ready.
Shout out to Ron Grubb. Yep, I'm ready.
All right, so first game we got against ECU, and ECU is gutted. No Caton Hauser, no Anthony Smith, no London Montgomery. I got this as a win for Alabama.
No Anthony Smith, Jalen Smith. It's gonna be an L regardless.
Yeah, so we both got to win against ECU. Next, we got first ACC game on the road against newly constructed Kentucky. I have this as a win.
Man, this could be a trap game for him though. But I got this as a win too.
I ain't got this one as a trap game. But
man, Kentucky. We're gonna get to Kentucky. Go ahead.
We move on to the rematch. Home and home last year. Tommy Castellanos talked trash to Isaiah Horton and backed it up. This year it's in Alabama. Playing Florida State, game 3. I have this as a win.
I do too.
All right. We move on to a team I'm tired of losing to at the last second, and that is South Carolina versus Bama. And as much as I wanted to say South Carolina finally beats Alabama, I gave Alabama the win. I'm tired of us choking.
4-0.
Yeah, I agree. Next, Jeff Lebby coaching for his Mississippi State life at
Woo!
Mississippi State. I got this as a win, man. Jeff Lebby ain't getting this one.
W.
We move on to the old Georgia Bama game. Bama won the last two in the regular season. It's back at Tuscaloosa, but I got Georgia coming in and getting a dub. I got an L here.
I got an L here too.
All right, we move on to a team that y'all know that I was not necessarily high on, but I gave them no credit for the season that they had basically last year. And shout out to my boy I play high school football with. He coaches on that staff. But I show no bias. They playing at Tennessee. I had this as a win.
I actually got this as a loss.
Ooh, I would love to hear the explanation here.
Well, we gotta get to Tennessee first. I don't want to,
Okay. Respect.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I got this as a win because I feel like by the way, Tennessee does have also a hot shot quarterback. I won't say no name because of the Tennessee segment. But I just feel like I can't until I see Tennessee have a good win. Because I don't even know if I've seen Tennessee had a good win in the past 2 seasons.
I'm with
to be honest. Like I might be missing something from 2 years ago with Nico. And if I do, charge it to my head. But I know for sure last year I ain't seen no good win. So I'm gonna go with Bama here. But we can move on. Oh, go ahead, my fault. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, because Tennessee had a good offense. Their issue was the defense, and they fired their DC. So they got a new DC,
and they was missing a starting corner for the whole year.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
I mean, who got
Jamal McCoy.
Of course, yeah. Who's actually in the NFL? Actually played. I think he played in the preseason games like that.
I didn't watch the Raiders game, so I don't know if he did or didn't.
Yeah, I think he did. He played in the preseason game. Shout out to him. First game back in a while. And then also, doing these predictions from last year, you automatically, I'm gonna just pick the one. They're a better team. It's, that don't always work though.
No, that's true.
Like the way I got Bama, I got them losing to Georgia. I got them going on a 2-game losing streak. So I got them losing to Tennessee.
Yeah, I got to win, but that is true. I didn't think it strictly off last year. It's just I just got to see Josh Heupel and them win me a big game. But we'll move on to Texas A&M, but not at Cal Field. This is Tuscaloosa. I got to win here. I don't want to say too much, but I got to win here.
I got to win here too.
All right, we'll move on to the Lane Train at LSU in Death Valley. I got a loss.
I do too. I got a loss, man.
I got a loss. I'm sorry.
LSU was busy this offseason.
For sure. And next, we got back-to-back road games this time in Nashville against Vanderbilt. Is it Clark Lee? Is it Diego Pavia? I'm going to say this game, it was because of Diego Pavia. I got to win here against Vandy. All right. Well, we ain't going to spend too much time on this next one. Last non-con, Bama about to schedule some BS, and it is Chattanooga. I got to win here.
I got to win too.
And we move on to the Iron Bowl, which I'm not going to lie, the last couple of Iron Bowls have been close. Like Bama, remember Jalen Milroe had to go on 4th and goal, 29 yards out, had to throw up a prayer, and they came down with it to win. Then last year was super close. Bama couldn't really score. Auburn defense was really giving them the business. So that Iron Bowl, no matter how good, how bad each team is, even I go back to when Bryce Young was there and TJ Finley was at Auburn. They went to like double overtime or something like that. That was like a couple years back. That game shouldn't have been that close. But with all that being said, I got Bama taking a dub, even though we'll talk about Auburn in 2 teams. I do like Auburn. But
okay.
But I like Alabama to win this game.
I got Alabama too.
All right. So that leaves me with my final record of 10-2, 7-2, taking the over 8.5 win total for the Alabama Crimson Tide.
9-3, 6-3, taking the over also.
Yep, we split. The only difference we have here is the Tennessee game, which if they do it, man. But we can move on.
It should prove you wrong, gang. It's a
pretty much. Show me something, and then well, we'll talk again. We'll talk about it, but something big is happening at Tennessee that we'll talk about. But we'll move on to the Arkansas Razorbacks, man. And this is one of like the 6 schools that had a head coaching change. Now, out goes Sam Pittman, which, by the way, man, Arkansas felt like not literally, but it just seemed like Arkansas wanted Sam Pittman gone because every time the game was close, an Arkansas player would turn the ball over and they would lose last year. I had a note, which I can't find right now, but I wrote it down. Oh, yeah, they were minus 13 in their 10 losses in the turnover margin. They lost 6 games by 1 possession. I remember strictly the Memphis game where Mike Washington was about to, I think, get a first down and ice it, and he fumbled, and Memphis went down and scored, and they lost because of a fumble. I was like, dog, it's just saying. I was like, dog, Sam Pittman can't control this. Like, he's not on the field with them, but he's now gone. And funny enough, Arkansas said, "Hey, we like how you beat us. We'll hire you, Ryan Silverfield, the head coach from Memphis." So, in comes Ryan Silverfield from Memphis. And he brings in offensive coordinator. I don't know why I said it like that. Offensive coordinator Tim Cramsey, who was the OC at Memphis from 2022 to 2025. And I will say Memphis had some good offenses within those years. Could not win the American Athletic Conference Championship. Didn't even make it, but I mean, they did. I mean, Tulane was ran by John Summerall. He won 2 of them. Well, he went to 2 of them. He won 1. Navy. Was it Army? Yeah, Army won 1. Tulane won 1. And then you had Willie Fritz, who came in and won, and they beat Caleb Williams and USC in the Cotton Bowl that year. So he had some tough competition in American with the OC did. But it brings in defensive coordinator Ron Roberts, who's the 2024 Florida co-defensive coordinator and linebackers coach, and 2025 defensive coordinator for Florida and linebackers coach. And I will say about Florida, no foreshadowing or nothing, but Florida defense wasn't an issue last year at all.
Exactly.
So Arkansas is coming off a 2-10, 0-8 regular season last year. Now 1 SEC win. And they had talent on the offensive end for sure. But they returned 6 starters, 4 on offense, 2 linemen, and 2 on defense. They are also a team who has not announced a quarterback yet. I think it will be A.J. Hill, though, however, because he came over with Ryan Silverfield. I don't think he's going to come over for nothing. I feel like if it's close, Ryan Silverfield is going to go with the guy that he know in A.J. Hill. Mm-hmm. And A.J. Hill did kind of come in and play decent when Brandon Lewis went down a couple times last year at Memphis. So, but Joe, talk to me about Arkansas.
Yeah, it's with the new head coach. I think that was a good move. He's been very successful with Memphis. He went 29-9 in the last 3 or 4 years. So he had a good record. And like you said, you mentioned the offense was really good over there, and then Arkansas, their issue was the defense. Once again, another team they have a defense issue. I saw a stat; they allow 126 yards. Hold on. Am I saying this wrong? 126 yards per pass. No, that's wrong. 100. Damn, I wrote this thing wrong, man. But they were a volunteer and pass per attempt allowed. It's all good. That's funny. So, but they had a terrible defense. But I know you're gonna get to the transfers. They went crazy in the transfer portal. They did a complete overhaul on the team, which is good, bringing a whole new coaching staff. So, I mean, I feel like I'm gonna get to the schedule, but I feel like this ain't the year for them. This is like the foundation laying year, and now they'll move on from there.
Yeah, without foreshadowing the schedule, I agree. But but they lost some big pieces. We'll get in that in a second. But we got to talk about what they returned. They returned C.J. Brown, a receiver with 28 catches, 319 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Jaden Platt, a tight end with 21 catches, 296 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Bradley Shaw, a linebacker with 50 total tackles, 24 solos, 2 sacks, a pass breakup, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, which led to a Coombs scored touchdown. Quincy Rose Jr., D lineman with 43 total tackles, 27 solos, 8 sacks, and a forced fumble. Now we got to talk about what they lost. Taylor Green, super athletic quarterback, was at Boise State at one point with Genty, and ultimately lost the job to Maddox Madsen, went to Arkansas. Did win a bowl game at Arkansas against Texas Tech, not last year, but 2 years ago. But he's now moved on to the NFL. He's on the Browns. He went 198 of 326, 60.7 completion percentage, 2,714 yards, 19 touchdowns, 11 picks, 777 rushing yards, and 8 touchdowns on the ground as well. They lost Mike Washington, who I talked about earlier, a running back who's on the Raiders. 167 carries, 1,070 yards, 6.4 carry, and 8 touchdowns with 28 catches, 226 yards, and a touchdown. Omega Blake, a receiver who had 58 catches, 769 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Raylan Sharp, a receiver trying to make the Colts, 41 catches, 592 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Rohan Jones, a tight end trying to make the Rams with 19 catches, 519 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Xavier Soray Jr., linebacker, trying to make the Raiders, 81 total tackles, 36 solos, 2.5 sacks, 3 pass breakups, a pick, and a forced fumble. Steven Dix Jr., a linebacker with 79 total tackles, 29 solos, and a sack. Larry Worth III, safety on the 49ers, 64 total tackles, 37 solos, and a pass breakup. Caleb Wooden, defensive back, 59 total tackles, 39 solos, 3 pass breakups. Julian Neal on the Seahawks, a cornerback, 55 total tackles, 32 solos, 10 pass breakups, and 2 picks. Kanai Walker, cornerback, Bills, 52 total tackles, 33 solos, a sack, 11 pass breakups, a pick, and a pick 6. Philip Lee, D lineman, 31 total tackles, 16 solos, 3.5 sacks. And Jordan Young, a defensive back, 28 total tackles, 17 solos, 6 pass breakups, an interception, and a forced fumble. Ready to get in this recruiting class / transfer portal?
Yeah, I know you talked about the QB situation. That's one thing that I'm keeping an eye on myself. Like you said, he got AJ Hill. He brought in AJ. Well, that's a transfer. Now, KJ Jackson, how do you feel about him?
I'm going to be honest. I don't remember too much about KJ Jackson, to be honest with you. So I really don't have an opinion. That's why I said if it's close, I think that he'll roll with AJ Hill because that's a guy he's coached. The OC is familiar with him. He had a couple, like I said, he came in for Brandon Lewis when he got hurt. I want to say one game was ECU. I want to say another game he came in was possibly Iverson Hooks played for UAB. There we go. UAB. I believe those were 2 games that he came in when Brandon Lewis was hurt.
Yeah, like I'm looking at his stats, right? He only has. I'm with you. I think he would go with the guy he brought in because he only played really 2 games that he actually had some ticking, and both games he was pretty average. I mean, one game was against us, obviously was not going to be that good. Got blown out 52-37, and one other game against Mizzou. So so I'm with you on that too.
All right, so we'll get into transfers. Well, first of all, Arkansas was 41st overall in recruiting class. It was 33rd in transfers with 43 incoming transfers. Now, obviously, we're not going to go over for all 43 of them. We're just going to go over some that we highlighted. I highlighted Chris Marshall, a receiver. Why did I write from Arkansas? Oh, Lord. I forgot to write. I wrote down the wrong school he came from. But Chris Marshall is a receiver with 30 catches, 574 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I want to say I was about to say I want to say he came from Boise State, to be honest with you. Cool. Sutton Smith, a running back from Memphis. 102 carries, 669 yards, 6.6 a carry, 7 touchdowns. AJ Hill, like I said, from Memphis. He went 19-32, 59.4 completion percentage, 223 yards, a touchdown, and a pick, while the limited snaps he got. Kamari House, a linebacker from UNC, I feel like was a good pickup there. He had 78 total tackles, 45 solos, a sack, a pass breakup, an interception, and a forced fumble. And Carter Startmeyer, a safety from Colorado, 37 total tackles, 24 solos, 5 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. Those are some transfers I highlighted. Joe, who did you highlight from this year's portal for Arkansas?
I think Brian Williams, the offensive tackle, was from Louisiana. I looked it up and said that he's was one of the top offensive linemen in the portal. So that's a big thing right there. I know you brought up Chris Marshall and you brought up Sutton also. And Donovan also. How you pronounce his last name? Fuape, Phil?
I got to look. Sometimes I got to look at last
from New Mexico?
Yeah, I probably got to look. But shout out to New Mexico. They are on it. They're going to be talked about next episode.
Yeah, I know he had 651 yards and 7 touchdowns last year, so he can be a good addition. So I thought they did a great job. They also lost 38 players through the transfer portal too. You know, so they, like I said, they did a complete overhaul on a defense. That's why I like right there. Like the offense is not a whole bunch of changes, but on the defensive side of the ball, they went insane with the transfers. You know, and
which, like you said, they had to.
Yeah, defense was the issue. So that's good to see.
Yeah, for sure. And again, you bring over an SEC coordinator who I believe had some success at Florida, to be honest with you, as a DC. So definitely great there. Hold on, I'm trying to find the New Mexico transfer for you, so I could try to get his last name. But you talking about New Mexico State? You talking about Donovan Papel?
Papel. Okay.
Yeah, from New Mexico State.
I'm sorry.
Salute to him.
I know you guys.
I will not be talking about. Yeah, I'm not talking about New Mexico State. I don't believe anyway. But yeah, some numbers. Even though take these numbers with a grain of salt because there's a whole new, OCDC and head coach. They were 14th in total offense. This is just to put in perspective last season. 120th in total defense, 23rd in scoring offense, 127th in scoring defense, 28th in passing, 103rd in pass defense, 28th in rushing, 114th in rush defense, 14th in third down percentage on converting on third downs on offense, 119th in third down percentage, so getting off the field on defense, tied 12th in the red zone, 116th in red zone defense, and to throw a little razzle dazzle in there, they were tied 123rd in turnover margin. Again, for all those triple digit numbers, it's out of 134 schools. So that just highlights what me and Joe have been talking about. The defense was atrocious last year at Arkansas.
Yeah. The rankings from the offense and defense is like night and day.
Exactly. You got a top tier offense with a Pop Warner defense. It was bad. But we'll hop into the schedule here. Where first game, they take on North Alabama. So win.
Yeah, this is a win.
Next game, this is a big game here. They on the road against Utah. I'm gonna say Pac-12. My lord, it's been some years since they were in the Pac-12. Big 12. They were a top tier Big 12 team last year. I don't got them being as big in the Big 12 this year, but I do have them beating Arkansas at home. Well, technically for Utah being at home, I have Utah winning. I have this as an L.
I can have it as an L too.
All right, cool. Then first SEC game under Ryan Silverfield, end of the year, at home against them Bulldogs. I have as a loss.
Loss.
We move on to another team who had a really good offense and no defense, and that is the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. I have this as a win.
I got it as a win too.
All right, we move on. Yeah, you know what I say, Joe. At Cal Field is a tough place to get a win. And trust me, I know. South Carolina was up 30-3 and ended up losing at Cal Field last year. Arkansas will play. Yes, bro. It was.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
I was pissed. Before I relive some demons, I had this as a loss against Texas A&M.
I got it as a loss too.
All right, then. This is actually a solid game. Arkansas is at home against Tennessee. Unfortunately, back-to-back 2-game losing streaks after the Tulsa. I have this as a loss.
Loss.
All right. Then they're back on the road against Vanderbilt in Nashville. I have this as a win.
I have it as a loss.
I'll say this. Again, I don't know if it was Diego Pavia or Clark Lee. And I lean towards it was Diego Pavia at Vanderbilt.
I'm with you on that too. I'm with you, but I'm not high on Arkansas this year.
I'm not either. But
and I'm not, yeah. Well, Vandy got some situations going on too.
I'm not really high on Vandy either. I'm sorry, Vandy. I was higher on you last year than I am this year. That's one spoiler I give you. But we'll move on. So another team that I'm not gonna say too much. They back at home against Mizzou, which I believe this is a rivalry game. But I got this as a win.
I actually got this as a loss.
I don't like Mizzou quarterback.
Oh, okay. It's one of the teams you're talking about.
I don't like their quarterback. We'll talk about that more in depth when we get there. But yeah, I have this as a win for Arkansas. And then I ain't gonna lie, the rest of the schedule here, I have them losing out the rest of the schedule.
I do too.
I have them losing at Auburn. I have them losing against South Carolina at home. I have them losing at Texas and then losing in Death Valley in the Battle of the Boot. No. They're at home against LSU. Excuse me. They're at home against LSU, but it's still the Battle of the Boot, and I have this as a loss. But fun fact, LSU Arkansas is still one of my favorite games of all time. I think it was 06, maybe 08, one of them two, when Darren McFadden, Felix Jones, and all them was at Arkansas. If you have not seen that triple overtime game or double overtime game, rewatch it. It was a classic.
So now go you about to say your record.
Yep, I got Arkansas at 4-8, 2-7, just barely taking the over 3.5 for Arkansas.
2-10, 0-9.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I basically got them doing what they did last year.
I was about to say I didn't hear not one SEC winning that at all.
Yeah, but I do think this coach will turn it around though.
I do too. because Arkansas is a place. Now, it was never a powerhouse, but it was a place that had some talent. That Alex Collins come through there, Jonathan Williams come through there, Ryan Mallett came through there. They had some guys. And I think Arkansas will at least at one point not compete for SEC title, but they'll be like competitive.
Competitive, yeah. Like Florida.
I can't give them like Florida because Florida got a natty. Florida got some SEC titles.
Well,
I ain't saying that.
I'm talking about Florida as a recent.
Okay, I was gonna say I
not
can't do that
in the old
one.
days. Not in the old days.
You know, I'll take any chance to slander the Gators, but can't do that one. But we'll move on to the Auburn Tigers. And Joe, you already know, I love this hire by the Auburn Tigers. You know, I've been big on USF the last couple years. And comes Alex Golish, the former head coach of USF, which if you haven't watched, I do have a coaching carousel episode. Those episodes have been broken down. Check it out, man. I go more in depth about the coaching hires here, at least the head coaching hires of this year. But anyway, Alex Golish had a tremendous amount of success at USF. While he never won the American in the 3 years that he was there, he actually, had some record-breaking. Now, would I say record-breaking? Yeah, I would kind of say some record-breaking stuff at USF for sure. But he brings over offensive coordinator Joel Gordon, who is South Florida's OC coach / quarterback coach from 2023 to 2025. So his years at USF, they were there together. And DJ Durkin as defensive coordinator, who's the Auburn defensive coordinator 2024 till present. But he was the interim head coach of Auburn last season. So he retained him on his staff. Kind of reminds me of James Franklin. James Franklin took over Brent Pry's job, but then hired him as the defensive coordinator after Virginia Tech fired him as the head coach.
That's crazy.
I was like, dog. I mean, at least he ain't got no ego, because that is crazy. But yeah, I love the hire. Now, Auburn was coming off a disappointing season, in my opinion. 5-7, 1-7. Jackson Arnold didn't really do what I thought he would do. I thought he would prove the world that it was Oklahoma and the lack of receivers, because the year he was at Oklahoma, he had like his top 6 receivers all hurt. But Jackson Arnold didn't necessarily have a good year at Auburn either. Running the ball, cool. As a quarterback, not really. So and that was probably another big reason why Cam Coleman left. But I think Alex Golish is going to turn this around. He's bringing over his guys. We'll talk about it later. He's looking to completely overhaul Auburn because they only returned 3 starters in period. So there's a complete overhaul of Auburn going here. But Joe, talk to me about Auburn a little bit.
Now, when you come out and say like, "Oh, it's a new coaching hire," and I like it, you usually all right, and but a little bit about Auburn. Auburn, I know last time we talked about this, I said that last year I mentioned that they are on the brink of having 5 losing seasons in a row. And they end up having those 5 losing seasons in a row. First time they had this stretch in 75 years, which is crazy. But 10, like you said, 10 out of the 11 starters are new, which is good, a complete overhaul on the Auburn side of the ball. They did lose Cam Coleman. I know you're going to mention all that too, but I feel like that was a huge loss because you know what he went to. I mean, just add, make it richer.
We're gonna talk about it.
But so let's get to the players.
All right. So the one returner on offense, they got to overhaul their O-line. It's not even O-lineman. Jeremiah Cobb at running back with 175 carries, 969 yards, 5.5 a carry, and 5 touchdowns. So they do return one of the bright spots of the offense, I shall say. Defensively, the 2 defensive starters they return are Xavier Atkins, a linebacker who had 84 total tackles, 60 solos, 9 sacks, a pass breakup, a pick, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. And Caleb Harris, the safety, who had 50 total tackles, 38 solos, a pass breakup, and a pick. Now, at quarterback, they lost Jackson Arnold, who transferred to UNLV, which, Coach Dan Mullen. Maybe you can figure Jackson Arnold out. But while at Auburn, he went 136. Oh, hold on.
He reminded me of a young Josh, like a Josh Allen when he first came through.
I ain't doing that. And again,
I'm talking about before he got to where he was.
You talking about Wyoming, Josh Allen, but still, I got some narratives, but I ain't going that far. Hold on now. But Jackson Arnold went 136 to 215, 63.3% completion percentage, 1,309 yards, 6 touchdowns and 2 picks, with 311 yards on the ground and 8 extra rushing touchdowns. Cam Coleman to Texas, a receiver who had 56 catches, 708 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Eric Singleton Jr., who went to Florida, a receiver who had 58 catches, 534 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And Malcolm Simmons, a receiver who went to Texas Tech, 25 catches, 457 yards, and 2 touchdowns. They lost Brandon Frazier, a tight end who had 13 catches, 97 yards. Robert Woodard Jr., who went to Mizzou, linebacker who had 67 total tackles, 47 solos, 2 sacks, and a pass breakup. Bobby Jamison Travis, a D tackle who went to the Giants, 36 total tackles, 25 solos, 2 pass breakups. Kyron Crawford, edge, drafted to the Raiders, 36 total tackles, 28 solos, 5 sacks, a pick, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. Kalen Lee, a cornerback to the Titans, 31 total tackles, 25 solos, 4 pass breakups, and a pick. Keldrick Falk, drafted to the Titans, an edge rusher who had 29 total tackles, 23 solos, 2 sacks, 4 pass breakups, and a fumble recovery. Malik Blockton, D tackle, transferred to LSU, 18 total tackles, 9 solos, half a sack, and a fumble recovery. Jalen Crawford, a cornerback, transferred to Ole Miss, 15 total tackles, 11 solos, 4 pass breakups, and a pick. And Jaquez Robinson, the safety on the Ravens, 27 total tackles, 23 solos. You want to move on to the transfers?
Well, I do want to talk about Jeremiah Cobbs. I know you mentioned him, the only returner for the offense, which is, like you said, it's a bright spot of the offense from last year. He did struggle against like the better defenses, but obviously, like you said, they have revamped the whole O-line. So they got a whole new O-line. So it'd be good to see how he's going to look behind this O-line. He almost had 1,000 yards last year, 7 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. So, yeah, so that's good they kept them. That's good they kept them.
Yeah, and they also was kind of like playing with Jeremiah Cobbs sometimes. They wouldn't even give him the ball like as much as they should have last year.
I'm with you. Against Texas A&M, he ran the ball 6 times.
Yeah, so that's also the thing with Jeremiah Cobbs. But hey, since we're in the transfers, I think this transfer quarterback is going to help him a lot. Byron Brown, his legs, the dynamic, just so dynamic Byron Brown is. I think that'll help Jeremiah Cobb a lot because read option with him and Byron Brown is just going to be so tough to stop. And then Byron Brown can also throw the football pretty well. We're going to talk about some targets. We'll talk about his target that came over from USF, who was a freshman last year, and he killed it. And that's Jeremiah Koger, who Alex Golis and them are very high on. 38 catches, 597 yards, and 8 touchdowns last year at USF. But this is another person I wanted to talk about on the offense. Yes, they got Jeremiah Cobb, but they also bring in Bryson Washington, running back from Baylor. And if you remember, when Baylor won like 6 straight games, not last year, but 2 years ago, Bryson Washington was a big part of the spark that Baylor offense had to win those games. So he's looking to bring a spark over to the Auburn Tigers. Now, last year, he went 154, 788 yards, 5.1 to carry, 6 touchdowns. But some defensive transfers I got is Michael Matthews-Canty, a linebacker out of Hampton with 76 total tackles, 37 solos, 2.5 sacks, a pass breakup, and Shamar Arno, a cornerback from Florida State who had 27 total tackles, 19 solos, and a pass breakup. They have the 21st overall recruiting class, 9th in transfers, bringing in 39 transfers. Joe, talk to me about some transfers you highlighted.
Yo, like you said, Byron Brown accounted for 42 touchdowns last year. So, and then he followed his coach. So he's a familiar situation. And once again, the offensive line, the whole offense, they got new receivers, new everything, so, but Byron Brown, like you said, with the running back, I think he'll be good with him with the read option, like you said, being a dual threat quarterback. So it's going to be exciting to see with this new regime.
Yeah, and another thing about Byron Brown running the football is he's tough to bring down. He will try to run you over. Like, he's not a super finesse guy. Like, yeah, he can move. He can try to juke you, but he ain't afraid to run through you either. And another thing about Byron Brown, he also had 1,000 yards on the ground while throwing for 3,000 yards in the air.
Yeah, 3,100 passing yards.
Yeah, the boy is just nice. And I've been on Byron Brown for a couple years now, but the man is nice. But some numbers about Auburn last year, again, taken with a grain of salt because there's a new coaching staff, but this is just to put in perspective last year. 77 total offense, 29th in total defense, 73rd in scoring offense, 34th in scoring defense, tied 97th in passing, 89th in pass defense, 43rd in rushing, 4th in rush defense, 75th in third down conversion on offense, tied 36th on third down conversions on defense, so getting off the field, tied 43rd in red zone offense, tied 103rd in red zone defense, but they were also tied 31st in team sacks. But without further ado, let's get into the schedule. And Auburn's new head coach, Alex Golesh, will start the year
Excuse me.
playing Bryson Washington's former team in a rematch, which they did win last year against the Baylor Bears. But this year it is at I think Atlanta is now the Mercedes. Atlanta's Mercedes, right? Yeah, because it used to be the Saints.
Yeah,
Now it's Atlanta.
Mercedes-Benz.
Yep, the Mercedes-Benz Dome is in Atlanta. I have this as a W against the Baylor Bears.
I do too.
All right. We go from the Baylor Bears to another team with a new head coach in the Southern Miss, Golden Eagles. But I got this as a W.
W.
All right. We move on to the first game in the SEC where they take on the Florida Gators. But they are at, is it Jordan Hare? I think Auburn is Jordan Hare. I'll look it up in a minute, but I think it's Jordan Hare.
Yeah.
I got this as a win.
I got it as a loss.
Okay. We'll move on to Vanderbilt at home. In Joe's case, looking to bounce back. For me, I got it at 4-0. I think they beat Vanderbilt.
I got them beating Vanderbilt.
It is Jordan Hare, by the way. All
Okay.
right. We move on to the fifth game of the year. This game is in Tennessee. I do have this as a loss.
Oh, okay. You surprised me with that. I got it as a loss too.
Got it as a loss.
Dang, he got them. Oh man, go ahead.
From the Tennessee loss, which I hope they win. Prove me wrong. They go on the road to Athens, Georgia, where they take on the Bulldogs. I do have this as a loss.
I got it as a loss too. They got a tough stretch.
I was about to say this is about to start a little streak here because they go back home. But this against the LSU Tigers and the Lane Train, man. This is another L for me.
Another L.
And then they go back on the road. But now they gotta go to Ole Miss and Pete Golden and the boys. And yes, he's technically a new head coach. But this ain't his first time rodeo. I got this as another L.
L.
Yep. So this is a 4-game losing streak for me. For Joe, for Joe, it's not a 5-game losing streak.
No. I got
lost 5 of their last 6. Yeah, they lost 5 of their last 6 for Joe. But for me, it's a 4-game losing streak. But now they back home against Arkansas. And as I previously stated, I got them beating Arkansas at home.
W.
And then they move on. The stress get a little lighter because now they on the road taking on Mississippi State. And I'm sorry, Jeff Lebby. I got some things to say in your segment. I got this as a win.
I actually got this as an L. Slip-up game, yep.
I don't know how you slip up after 4 straight L's, but
and Mississippi State too.
It is in Mississippi State. But I got this as a win, man. We'll move on to Samford. You know, senior night. Thank God this is senior night. Because I got this as a win on senior night.
W.
And now you go to Bama in Tuscaloosa. In the Iron Bowl. And I know, like I said in the Bama segment, the Iron Bowl do be close. But I got this as an L.
Yeah, L.
So my final record, which, by the way, I will say this. I had the Tennessee game as a win at first. But I got to the Tennessee section. I switched it to a loss. So I originally had Auburn 8-4, 5-4. But with the switch, I got to finish at 7-5, 4-5. Taking the over. Still taking the over 6.5.
Dang. I got them going 5-7, 2-7.
Yeah, the swing games for us is not Tennessee because you got them Florida, which they could definitely lose to Florida. I can see that happening.
The Mississippi State.
Yeah, the Mississippi State one. They do that. Boy, Jeff Libby gonna hear some words from not only the alumni, but the AD might have to talk about they lose to Mississippi State. I know alumni gonna be going crazy. They lose to Mississippi State. Joe, you trying to put some bad juju on my boy. But we can move on.
Let's get it.
To the Florida Gators. Another team. 3 straight teams with a new head coach. As much as I despise the Florida Gators, I love this hire. John Summerall coming off of an AAC championship year where they beat North Texas. Their coach also got hired in the Big 12. Go check that out. But man, John Summerall at Troy, back-to-back Sun Belt championships. Went to Tulane, got him an AAC championship. Can he possibly win an SEC championship at Florida? Who knows? But the track record shows that where he goes, he gets him a conference championship. And then so he brings over offensive coordinator Buster Faulkner, who is Georgia Tech's offensive coordinator from 2023 to 2025. So the 3 years that Haynes King was there, which is important because his quarterback will be because of that. The defensive coordinator is Brad White, who is defensive coordinator and outside linebackers coach at Kentucky from 2018 to 2025. So, hey, man, way to transfer up because, boy, I know it was sad in Kentucky for some years. You had some good years, though. Definitely. And I will say the defense at Kentucky was kind of always solid to me. You know, they just got a type at quarterback. Will Levis, Devin Leary. I'm just not gonna say nothing else. Oh my god, I can keep going. Cutter Bowley. Oh gosh, Kentucky quarterbacks. But anyway, Florida is coming. But I will say this though, Florida is coming off a head coach who had tons of success in the Sun Belt and Billy Napier, who I was also high on, but unfortunately did not do well. He had one good year with Graham Mertz, not last year, but 2 years ago, and it wasn't even like great. It was like mid. I think it was like 7-5 or 8-4, and they beat the mess out of Tulane in the Gasparilla Bowl because Darian Mensah immediately left Tulane for Duke, which worked out for him because he won himself an ACC championship at Duke, and Tulane won the AAC championship with Jake Reslav. But Florida, man, coming off a 4-8, 2-6 season, horrible. Again, fired Billy Napier. They still returned 9 starters though, 4 on offense, 2 of them being O-linemen, and 5 on defense. Now they lost DJ. DJ went to Baylor, which was a big loss because he was their big get under Billy Napier, the big 5-star quarterback that was looking to change things at Florida, but unfortunately did not. But Joe, talk to me about Florida.
Yeah, new coach, John Summerall, like you said, 43-12 record with Troy and Tulane. So, and like you said, he brought both of those programs to heights they never been to before. So that's good right there. And I like their running back unit. I know we're gonna get to like returning and transfer stuff like that, but I think they got some good skill players over there.
Yeah, I think so too. I will correct you. Maybe Troy. I'm not sure if Troy won the Sun Belt ever before John Summerall. Tulane, however, did win the AC with Willie Fritz because with Clayton Tune. No, Clayton Tune was Houston. Michael Pratt and Mekhi Hughes. But we'll move on. We got to talk about the main returner, Jaden Ball, running back. The main guy for Florida who went 220 carries, 1,170 yards, 5.3 carry, 8 touchdowns. Man's a baller. I'm expecting big things from him this year again. Then they bring back Vernell Brown III, a receiver who had 40 catches, 512 yards. They bring back Miles Graham, a linebacker who had 76 total tackles, 36 solos, 2 sacks, and 4 pass breakups. Bryce Thornton, a safety, had 56 total tackles, 31 solos, a sack, 6 pass breakups, a pick, a forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, and a scoop and score. Jaden Robinson, a linebacker who had 51 total tackles, 29 solos, 2 sacks, 3 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. The also controversial Cormani McClain at cornerback. They bring him back, 17 total tackles, 10 solos, a pass breakup, and a pick. And Jamari Lyons, a defensive lineman with 18 total tackles and 6 solos. And I want to say this, Cormani McClain isn't really well, he did kind of bring some of the controversy on himself from some of the things he said with his departure with Colorado, but it was just a lot of controversy. I'm glad it's kind of over with and the kid can just focus on college football and, you know, trying to be the best Cormani he can, trying to pursue his dreams. I would believe, or I would think, which is to be a player at the next level. But yeah, it was a lot of controversy with this. But just going to some guys they lost. DJ Lagway, like I said, transferred to Baylor. He went 213 to 337, 63.2% completion percentage, 2,264 yards, 16 touchdowns. Now, can't harp on this enough. 14 interceptions, which was, I think, like tied second in the country. Can't have it. It was a big reason why Florida was losing games last year. I remember the LSU game being specifically like super close. And of course, they lost. They had like 5 turnovers. What do you want to do with 5 turnovers? It's just, they were kind of Arkansas-esque in terms of a bunch of turnovers leading to losses. But he also had 136 rushing yards and another one on the ground. They lost to Michael Sturdivant, a receiver who's on the Packers, 27 catches, 406 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Hayden Hansen, a tight end, transferred to Oklahoma, 30 catches, 254 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Trey Wilson, or Eugene Wilson, who transferred to LSU, a receiver with 27 catches, 239 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Jordan Castell, a defensive back, transferred to Kentucky, 54 total tackles, 28 solos, and 2 picks. Sharif Denson, a safety who transferred to Ole Miss, 52 total tackles, 39 solos, and a pass breakup. Tyreek Sapp, a defensive end on the Browns, 34 total tackles, 12 solos, and a sack. Caleb Banks, a D tackle on the Vikings, 6 total tackles, 2 solos, and a fumble recovery. Mekhi Baru, D tackle, transfer to Ole Miss, 20 total, 7 solos, 2 sacks, and a pick. And George Gums Jr., edge rusher on the Colts, 31 total tackles, 14 solos, 2.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. Anything you want to talk about, Joe?
I know you talked about the running back, Jaden Ball. Was it a big return? They got him as first team all selections, and they got the preseason rankings and all that stuff. They got him first team.
All SEC.
Yeah, and which is good. Did you mention Ben Hanks the third?
No, and I was also going to mention Dallas Wilson, but not.
Okay, yeah, another cornerback who's really good. I think it's a good return for them too. So they brought back some good pieces. But like I said, they got some good skill players. They brought back some, like you said, some like Vernell Brown the third. Did you mention Vernell Brown the third?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. All right, and Dallas Wilson, right? I know you probably mentioned.
I was going to bring up Dallas Wilson.
So, yeah, Florida. Let's see what they're going to do with the new coach.
Man. Hope they don't do good because forget Florida. But let's see. Florida.
I know they beat us last year.
I called that too.
You did.
I called it. My boy was like, "You guys beating Texas?" I said, "In the swamp, yes." But they have the 18th overall recruiting class, 30th in transfers with 29. Namely, Aaron Philo coming over from Georgia Tech. Aaron Philo had some games we had to step in not only last year but 2 years ago with Haynes King battling injuries. He did okay. I know he lost the game they lost the game. Did they lose or did they? I think they might have barely pulled it out actually 2 years ago against NC State. I know they lost last year, but Aaron Philo didn't play in that game. That was all Haynes King. But last year he went 21-28, 75% completion percentage, 373 yards, a touchdown, a pick at Georgia Tech. Again, following his OC over to Florida. Eric Singleton Jr. Now, if you remember, he was at Georgia Tech with Buster Faulkner 2 years ago before he went to Auburn last year, and he thrived with Buster Faulkner. So he's reunited with his his OC. 50 who had 58 catches, 534 yards, and 3 touchdowns at Auburn. I should have wrote his Georgia Tech stats to be honest, but that was his stats last year. They bring over Kanye Clark, a cornerback from UCLA, who had 23 total tackles, 16 solos, 2 pass breakups, and 4 fumble. Jordy Lowry, a cornerback from ECU, who had 27 total tackles, 23 solos, 4 pass breakups, a fumble, forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. And Lakota Dupree, a tight end from JMU, who had 17 catches, 192 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Any transfers you want to talk about, Joe?
He had over 700 yards both years at Georgia Tech, which is good.
Yep.
But I think Eric Singleton Jr. was probably the biggest one. I thought that was good pickup. And I like the two line. They brought in 2 starting offensive linemen. You got Emeka, I can't even pronounce his last name, and you got TJ Shannon Jr. So we gonna see, man. We gonna see. I know, like you said, I lost DJ Lagway. I don't know too much about the Aaron Philo. Yeah, I don't know too much about him. What I've been seeing, what I've looked up about him was that he's a very efficient passer, basically.
Yeah, he's not like Haynes King was like the super athletic one, who also could throw the ball, but Aaron Philo is not as athletic as Haynes King. He's more of from what I remember, it was more of a drop back guy. So
okay.
But some numbers. Again, taken with a grain of salt for the third time because it's the third straight new coaching staff. But to give you a glimpse of the season last year,
that's crazy.
The turnover for the SEC episode, I was like, I still got to keep going. But 102nd in total offense, 70th in total defense, tied 109th in scoring offense, 68th in scoring defense, 91st in passing, tied 76th in pass defense, 91st in rushing, 76th in rush defense, 114th on third down conversions, 117th in third down conversions on defense. Tied 12th in red zone offense, tied 16th in red zone defense, but 79th in turnover margin. Now let's get to the schedule where they take on Caden Velkamp, who actually led the country in interceptions last year with 17 picks, and the FAU Owls, where I have this as a win.
W.
All right. They will then take on first 2 games easy out the gates. The Campbell Camels, which is a W.
Campbell Camels. W.
Hey, my the athletic trainer dude that I was working with at Michigan State went to Campbell, I think. So salute to Campbell. But
shout out to him.
At Auburn, shout out Q, by the way, if you listen. I hope you're doing great, my boy. I seen Q was at Team USA, I think, at one point. So salute to Q. One of the smartest people I know. At Auburn, as mentioned, I have this as an L.
Ooh, I got this. Oh yeah, you're right. I got it as a W, as mentioned.
Yep. Then they go from Auburn to back at the Swamp against Ole Miss. And I got this as an L. I know it's the Swamp, but I got it as an L.
I actually got it as a W.
The Swamp is tricky, but I got it as an L.
I got Trinidad and I'm struggling early in the season against them. So yeah.
I don't know. Trinidad and them boys got some Pete Golden, Trinidad, Keywan Lacey, got some chemistry there. But yeah, I got it as an L. But we move on to at Mizzou, where I think Florida gets back on track with a win.
I got an L.
We want to talk about Mizzou. I because you kind of getting me to spoil you, and I don't want to spoil you. I got it as a W against Mizzou. All right, at the Mizzou, they back at the Swamp. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all, probably air with fandom on this one. Because I can't give us 3 straight losses to Florida. We ain't played Florida in 2 years. And the last 2 times we played Florida, we lost. One of them with Ricky Pearsall and Graham Mertz. They came back down double digits and beat us. I was sick at South Carolina. Got it as a loss. You probably got it as a win, and I definitely respect it and understand it. But I'm telling y'all now, this is probably a fandom pick. I got an L.
I got a W.
All right. Hey, look, I already knew it. I just couldn't have 3 straight. I can't do it. Then they go from the Swamp to Austin, Texas. Got an L. I think Texas gets their revenge.
Exactly. It's get back right here. L.
All right. And then they go from Texas to the world's largest bar party. Or I think it's the world's largest bar party. But this year it's not in Jacksonville. It's in Atlanta. They take on the Georgia Bulldogs. And if you remember last year, that game came down to Georgia having to convert a big third down. This game is always close for whatever reason. I said it last year. For whatever reason, it's always close. I do have this as an L, but I think it's another good game.
I got it as an L too.
All right. As I look up the name of the Georgia-Florida rivalry, I know it's the world's largest something, but I want to say it's the bar party. But they take on Oklahoma back at the Swamp. I got them beating Oklahoma.
I got them losing.
Yeah, I think the Swamp get tricky game for me is the Oklahoma game. So we'll move on from the Swamp to on the road to Kentucky. Well, I got this as a win.
I got this as an L.
We're gonna have to talk about this Kentucky game too, man. It's the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. That's what it's called.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
World's largest outdoor cocktail party.
Yeah, I knew it was the world's largest something. I can't remember it. But we take after Kentucky, we back at the Swamp where they play Vanderbilt. I had this as a win.
W.
And then the last game of the year, a rivalry game against Florida State on the road.
W.
I got them winning 4 straight to finish the season. So I got Florida finishing 7-5, 4-5. Still taking the under 7.5 win total from the Gators.
We got the same record.
Yeah, the South Carolina game and the Mizzou game is where we switch, I think.
Yeah, 7-5, 4-5.
Oh, no, it's another game too, though. Oh, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, because you got them beating Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And you got them losing to Oklahoma. I got them beating Oklahoma and losing to Ole Miss. So, yeah, it's a 4-game difference. But it all worked out to 7-5.
The first time we agreed on the record.
Yep. We got the under for sure. But we'll move on.
Yes, sir.
To a team who didn't have coaching turnover. To a team who actually who's the reigning SEC champs.
Crazy.
And that is the Georgia Bulldogs. They're the 2-time reigning SEC champs. Who's gonna knock them off the throne?
I think they won the last 4.
Nobody say I can't. Yeah, Bama won 1. Bama won the one where Florida State won undefeated and didn't make the playoff. That was Bama because then Georgia would say, "Oh, we ain't good," blah, blah, whatever. Should have won the SEC. But anyway, the Bulldogs, man, Kirby Smart has been dominating the SEC. Again, like we just discussed, winning 3 of the last 4, one definitely the last 2. Sorry, Joe. Y'all first year, y'all almost did something incredible. Y'all almost won y'all last year in the Big 12 and then went to the SEC and won your first year in the SEC. That'd have been incredible.
Georgia's in the way. Oh.
My headset. I tapped the cord by accident.
It called out.
I need a new cord for my mic. But Georgia's coming off an 11-1, 7-1 season again. What more can you say about last year? The only blemish was the Bama game, which, let's be honest, Bama, if it wasn't for that big start in the first half, they'd have lost that game because Georgia came roaring back in the second half. They went for it on 4th down and didn't get it late in the game, and it kind of cost them late in the end because Bama was able to run out the clock later in the ball game. But if it wasn't for that blemish, Georgia would have had an undefeated season. I'm not the biggest Gunnar Stockton fan. I'll let that be known up front. I feel like Gunnar Stockton kind of got carried by a really good Georgia defense, which I will also say that Georgia didn't have a premier pass rusher, which is kind of weird for Georgia, in my opinion. But they had a really good run game with Nate Frazier, who I believe, Nate Frazier is back. So really good run game. He got stats, but I'm again just not a fan of Gunnar Stockton. I was really a fan of Gunnar Stockton after he came in for Carson Beck 2 years ago. I didn't think it looked great either, but maybe he can raise his stock. They did lose in the Sugar Bowl. They lost in the Sugar Bowl against Ole Miss, and that game was a classic. Oh my Lord, I remember watching that game like it was yesterday. That game was lit. The playoff game against Ole Miss. But I would say a solid year. I know Georgia Bulldogs fans not going to say that because they ain't win a natty or make the natty. So, their standards might be a little higher. But solid year for them. Now, they returned tied for the most starters in the SEC with 14. They returned 6 on offense, 3 of them being O-linemen, and 8 on defense. We already named one of them, Gunnar Stockton. But, Joe, before I get into naming the returners and the loss, talk to me a little bit about Georgia last year.
Yeah, I feel like they are a standard in the SEC. Like the fact that they were the powerhouse because of talent, they were just out talent people. And then they got all this transfer and NILs, all that stuff that at the playing field, and they still win in the SEC. So I give a shout out to them. Although and they've been dominating us every time we play them. So I'm glad we don't have them on the schedule this year. I saw that, I was like, okay, we don't got no Georgia. So that's that. They did well. One thing that does worry me about them: 6 of their 7 leading receivers are gone. 6 out of 7. As far as production wise, but the defense is still the strength of this team. And I'm with you on Gunnar Stockton. I feel like Gunnar Stockton is a QB that's not going to it's like Jalen Hurts. He's not going to lose you the game, right? But not like Jalen Hurts on the other side. He also ain't going to win you the game. You know what I mean? He's right in that middle. That's what Gunnar Stockton is. So yeah, he's like the weak link in this. But Georgia never really needed a top tier quarterback to run the ship because they always had the talent around in the defense and all that stuff. But like you said, they didn't have a premier, like we say, a premier pass rusher, which is unheard of when it comes to Georgia.
Yeah, they had 3-4 of them 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, trust me, I know.
No, for sure.
Like my man, no, quitting yours.
Yeah, for sure. I tend to agree with that. And to your point, I mean, I can't remember the last elite quarterback Georgia had. I mean, collegiately, some might say Justin Fields or not Jacob Eason, Jake Fromm. I still wouldn't agree with at least Jake Fromm, maybe Justin Fields, but y'all ain't even playing for real. So does he really count? Stetson Bennett won 2 natties, and I don't think he was elite. I think he was better than what people gave him credit for, though. I do think that. But yeah, I can't think of the beyond maybe Matt Stafford. Not saying Bradford. Aaron, I don't even know if I call Aaron Murray elite. Never mind. We'll just move off of it. But yeah, but in comes, returner Gunnar Stockton, who went 269 to 386, 69.7% completion percentage, 2,894 yards, 24 touchdowns, 5 picks. But he added 462 yards and 10 touchdowns on the ground. Returned Nate Frazier, 173 carries, 947 yards. Yep, 5.5 a carry and 6 touchdowns. Lawson Lucky, a tight end, 15 catches, 158 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Returned KJ Bolden, a defensive back, 76 total tackles, 32 solos, 5 pass breakups, 2 picks, and a fumble recovery. Raylan Wilson, a linebacker with 74 total tackles, 30 solos, 2.5 sacks, and a pass breakup. Quintavious Johnson, a linebacker with 34 total tackles, 21 solos, 2 sacks, 5 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. Gabe Harris Jr., linebacker, 26 total tackles, 11 solos, and a sack. Kyron Jones, a defensive back, 24 total tackles, 13 solos, fumble recovery. Jordan Hall, a D lineman, 12 tackles, 3 solos. Xavier McLeod, D lineman with 17 total tackles, 8 solos, 2 pass breakups. And Ellis Robinson, the fourth, a defensive back with 20 total tackles, 13 solos, 7 pass breakups, and 4 picks. Now they lost a lot, and they lost some receiver talent, i.e. Zachariah Branch. 1 year with that guy who transferred in from USC. I feel like I wish I would have seen Zachariah Branch with a better quarterback at Georgia, but he still had 81 catches, 811 yards, and 6 touchdowns currently on the Falcons. Probably wouldn't have seen him with a better quarterback in the NFL as well. But we'll move forward to Kobe Young, a receiver who was on the Bengals, 26 catches, 354 yards, and a touchdown. Dylan Bell, a receiver on the Vikings, 27 catches, 268 yards, and 2 touchdowns there. Oscar Delp, a tight end on the Saints, 20 catches, 261 yards, and a touchdown. CJ Allen, huge loss at linebacker on the Colts, 88 total tackles, 47 solos, 3.5 sacks, 4 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. Dalen Everett to the ops, a cornerback, 49 total tackles, 28 solos, 8 pass breakups, a pick, and a fumble recovery, that being the Steelers. And Christian Miller to the Saints, a defensive tackle, who had 23 total tackles, 10 solos, and a sack and a half. Anybody you want to talk about before we move on to the transfers?
KJ Bowden, I think, and Ellis Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
I think those two going to have big years this year. I think they're going to take a leap, another level leap. So I look for that time, especially KJ Bowden. That's one guy that's been on my radar. Like he's not my guy, but I actually consider him for being the defensive player of the SEC. I actually consider that, you know what I mean? But he's not. I didn't pick him, so
I didn't consider him. I considered a different person
on the team.
Nah.
Oh, a different safety.
Nah, different player on my team, but he's not it either. He's not mine. I considered it though.
I consider one of your guys too.
I know we talking about the same guy.
Okay,
there ain't nobody else to consider on that South Carolina, so I know exactly what you're talking about. But 9th overall recruiting class, because it's Georgia, which I ain't gonna lie, 9th overall recruiting class kind of trash for Georgia, for real. We talking about Georgia, but they were 16th for transfers, with only 9 transfers. But talk about a guy. I think this guy's gonna be a guy for Georgia, and that's Khalil Barnes, the safety out of Clemson. 40 total tackles, 24 solos, and 2 pass breakups. I think he might be a guy for them. Another guy who I think is gonna be a guy. You talk about receiver production loss. How about receiver production gain? Isaiah Canyon, receiver from Georgia Tech. They were big about him at Georgia Tech. His OC left, so he dipped. Now, he didn't follow his OC to Florida, but instead he went to the ops and went to Georgia. I'm tired of losing to Georgia in these close games. I want to win against Georgia in this Georgia Tech rivalry. And he goes to Georgia, where he had 33 catches, 480 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Jamarly Riddle, a safety from ECU, who had 70 total tackles, 38 solos, 6 pass breakups, 3 interceptions, and a fumble recovery. And I also highlighted this running back who should definitely add to the running back depth, and that is Dante Dowdle, a running back from Kentucky, 112 carries, 560 yards, 5 a carry, and 3 touchdowns. I know I went over 4 to 9, but any other highlight transfers you wanted to highlight, Joe?
I mean, no, but Dante Dowdle is somebody. He brings that lightning, that physical presence in the backfield. But Isaiah Canyon, you talked about, I thought it was a big pickup too. That's something. That's one guy I wrote down my paper. So, but yeah, Georgia, man. Like I said, I have a lot of respect for Georgia. I think Georgia, as long as Kirby Smart is there, I know I mentioned that he's the best coach in the nation, and you say, whoa, Joe, hold up. It's a guy named Cincinnati, Indiana. It's before he won the championship, and you called it out. So, but I respect Kirby Smart. I think he has a great program, and I think they probably repeat what they did last year, maybe.
Yeah, no, I agree. I respect Kirby Smart too. Kirby Smart is in my top 3 head coaches in the country for sure. I think my top 3, if I remember what I said correctly, is Cignetti, Kirby Smart, and Jeff Braun. But some numbers about Georgia last year: they were 50th in total offense, 14th in total defense, 28th in scoring offense, 10th in scoring defense, 76th in passing, 60th in pass defense, 35th in rushing, 4th in rush defense, 32nd in third down conversions on offense, 32nd on third down conversions on defense, 16th in red zone offense, and tied 14th in red zone defense. But without further ado, Joe, you ready for the schedule?
I am.
And I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I got Georgia winning every game except for at Ole Miss.
Oh.
I think Ole Miss get them again.
Okay. I got Georgia going 12-0.
I think Ole Miss get them again, man. Because
That's undefeated.
Ole Miss could have got them last year in the regular season. They scored on their first 5 possessions, all touchdowns. The only thing was they couldn't stop Georgia from scoring. Georgia didn't punt the entirety of the game. And then we saw when, in the playoffs, they got Georgia to punt. They got some stops. They got some big plays. Trinidad back. I think Ole Miss gets them. But I got them 11-1, 8-1, taking the over 10.5.
12-9, no. And that's one thing we didn't mention also. It's the first time it's 9 games in the SEC play.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. I did not mention. Which, if you didn't, we didn't mention, but you probably caught along with our conference records. Mm-hmm. But I will tell y'all, everybody who Georgia plays, since we did not do that, they play at home against Tennessee State, at home at Western Kentucky, on the road against Arkansas, at home against Oklahoma, at home against Vanderbilt, on the road against Bama, at home against Auburn, at home against Florida, on the road against Ole Miss, my only loss, at home against Mizzou, on the road against South Carolina, which please, I mean, we did all right the first half last time we played Georgia at home, and at home against Georgia Tech, which those games have been classics the last 2 games.
This is actually like a good schedule for them.
Yeah, I mean, you play your Bamas, you play your Ole Miss, you play your Oklahomas. Georgia Tech is always a good game. Now they don't play LSU, they don't play Texas, which, I mean, good for you, not necessarily Georgia.
I mean, this year different.
We would hope, but we can move forward to the Kentucky Wildcats, which I was this is one of the teams I'm interested to talk about now, Joe. You piqued my interest with Kentucky.
Oh, for real?
Yes. And we went from one team out of 3 of the last 4 have been coaching turnovers. We had the one team that don't. Now we're back to another team that had a coaching turnover. Will Stein enters as the new head coach. And you know what's crazy? This happens after I told Joe, Mark Stoops, he's at Kentucky. They don't necessarily, I'm not going to say they don't care about winning, but they're not a stickler like the other schools. And he got it kind of sweet at Kentucky. Then he lost his job. I was like, dang, I did all that. And now Mark Stoops lost his job. But in steps Will Stein, which, he's excited. He's I seen him chirping a little bit about his how he thinks Kentucky's going to be. Which, salute to you. Had all the confidence in the world. I'm not mad at the guy for that. But I believe Will Stein was the DC of Oregon. No. Tosh, I'm about to say Tosh LaPoy was the DC. He went to Cal. Will Stein was the OC. He went to Kentucky. I had him confused. But I mean, you seen them Oregon offenses. You seen Bo Nix at Oregon. You seen Dylan Gabriel at Oregon. Excuse me. You seen Dante Moore. I may or may not have a reel coming out about Dante Moore. But anyway, see Dante Moore at Oregon. But Joe Sloan is his OC. He brings him over from LSU, where he was the 2024-2025 offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. And at DC, he brings over Jay Bateman, who was Texas A&M's defensive coordinator and linebackers coach in 2024 and 2025. And if you remember, Texas A&M had some defenses on them the past 2 years, because I feel like that defense low-key been carrying that offense. Also, I feel like last year Texas A&M schedule was kind of weak, and it was exposed in the Texas game. But we ain't going to say too much. But yeah, they're coming off a 5-7, 2-6 season, where they just missed out on a bowl game. But they returned 5 starters, 1 offensive, which is not an O-lineman, and 4 defensive. So they got to retool the whole offense, including the O-line. Joe, talk to me about Kentucky a little bit before we go into the losses and returns.
I think Kentucky potential is high because, correct me if I'm wrong, would you say that he's probably was the best OC in college football?
No, you're wrong, in my opinion.
Oh, who the best OC do you think?
In football right now, college football right now, I don't know if he's the best, but Jason Beck, who is now at Michigan, unfortunately, he been cooking these last 2 years.
Okay.
New Mexico, he cooked. Last year with Utah, he cooked. Jason Beck, he kind of up there.
Okay, but he up there. Would you say?
He up there for sure. He up there for sure. I just don't know if he's the best OC in college football.
So he's one of the best OCs. Now, obviously, OC and head coach, 2 different positions, right? We know how that could be. Just because you're a good play caller, I mean, you're a good head coach. But think about this. Now, I know they got a new DC, but Kentucky last year, when they scored 21 points, they were 4-1. That's it. They
the
scored
only loss was what, Ole Miss?
I'm not sure I forgot who the only loss was. but they were 4-1 when they scored 21 or more points. And bringing in an offensive-minded coach like this is gonna drastically hold them. In the trenches, they should be good in the deep. I know you're going to talk about it, but the offensive line and D line should be good on both sides of the ball. Now they got some question marks, obviously. We're gonna get to that, but I like this head coach hire. Now, obviously, he's a first-time head coach, so it's always that what-if factor when it comes to stuff like that. But he's been a great offensive coordinator all these years, so he's good at it. And like you said, he's talking confident.
Yeah, it was Ole Miss. They lost 30-23, which that kind of loops into a different team. So I'm not going to say too much. But the times they played, all right, these are the schools where they scored 21 or more against last year and won. Toledo, Eastern Michigan. Actually, they scored 21 against Tennessee and lost. They scored 34. They lost 56-34 to Tennessee.
Yeah. Okay.
They lost 30-23 to Ole Miss. They beat Tennessee Tech when they won 42-10. And the last one where they scored 21 points or more was Florida. They won 38-7. So they only won one SEC game. They won one SEC game. The rest is 3. An FCS school, a MAC school, and 2 MAC schools actually are part of that record. So it's a great record, Joe, but in context, it sounds horrible.
That man is dissecting my whole take.
Sounds horrible in context. But I will say I do like the hire. I think Will Stein. I think he could possibly change some things in Kentucky. We've seen Kentucky be competitive especially with good running backs, i.e. Ray Davis, i.e. Chris Rodriguez. We've seen Kentucky be competitive. I just don't know if it's going to be this year. But we'll talk about the returnees and some losses where they returned Willie Rodriguez, the tight end who had 23 catches, 310 yards, and a touchdown. So not really too much production returned offensively. Defensively, they returned Ty Bryant, a defensive back with 76 total tackles, 46 solos, a pass breakup, and 4 picks. McKeese Humphrey Grace, D lineman who had 31 total tackles, 18 solos, 3.5 sacks, 2 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. Sam Green, a linebacker who had 25 total tackles, 15 solos, a sack, and pass breakup. Terrion Nichols, defensive back, 18 total tackles, 11 solos, and 4 pass breakups. And they lost Cutter Boley, which, but he was a quarterback who had 198-301, 65.8% completion percentage, 2,160 yards, 15 touchdowns to 12 interceptions, who transferred to Arizona State. I will also say this. I told y'all, man, I'm not buying Zach Calzada last year. People try to make people buying Zach. Get him out of here. But they lost Seth McGowan, who's on the Colts, a running back, 165 carries, 725 yards, 4.4 carry, and 12 touchdowns. Kendrick Law, a receiver on the Lions, 53 catches, 540 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Jamari Macklin, a receiver on the Bills, 13 catches, 189 yards. Devin Rayner, a linebacker on the Falcons, 69 total tackles, 32 solos, 2 sacks, 4 pass breakups, and 2 picks. Alex Afari Jr., which is a maybe because of this whole 5th-year thing going on where some players are allowed to come back even though they've been on NFL rosters and played in preseason games. He might be one of them allowed to come back. So it's a maybe. Maybe he's coming back. Maybe he's lost. Again, I really don't even like this. They shouldn't even – once you touch an NFL roster, you put on an NFL jersey, you should not be allowed to come back to college. You should be cooked. Yes. But it's the world we live in. He is a linebacker with 61 total tackles, 33 solos, 2.5 sacks, and a pass breakup. J.Q. Hardaway, a cornerback who had 58 total tackles, 40 solos, a sack, 5 pass breakups, and a pick. Jordan Levitt, a defensive back who had 44 total tackles, 30 solos, and 2 picks. Quashid Scott, who transferred to South Carolina, defensive back with 39 total tackles, 26 solos, 2 pass breakups, and a pick. And Khalil Saunders, a D lineman for the Saints, 29 total tackles, 15 solos, a pick. Forced fumble and a fumble recovery. Joe, anybody you want to talk about for Kentucky?
I mean, Ty Bryant, you know what I mean? Former all SEC selection. You know, and then you got Willie Rodriguez, the tight end, like you mentioned, who is the preseason all SEC selection, right? So having those 2 returns is pretty big, you know, on both sides of the ball. So, yeah, those are the only 2 people I want to mention right now.
Yeah, I was thinking about Texas Tech and Terrence Carter. I'm like, hold on, really? But then I'm like, hold on, wrong Texas school. But yeah, so they had the 38th overall recruiting class, 10th for transfers, which is really good for Kentucky. 30 transfers incoming for Kentucky. Now, something I highlighted was Nick Anderson, which Nick Anderson better days was at Oklahoma. But he transfers in from LSU. 12 catches, 106 yards, and 2 touchdowns while at LSU. Sorry, Joe. CJ Baxter, man. This is a good pickup for them, Joe. I can't lie. Running back from Texas. Now I believe CJ Baxter dealt with a ton of injuries at Texas, why he never really flourished. But he had at Texas 54 carries, 196 yards, and 3.6 a carry. If he can stay healthy, I think this is a really good pickup for Kentucky. Now, this quarterback right here from Notre Dame, I think I don't think too much of him because he really has limited playing time. Mm-hmm. I know he was supposed to be highly touted coming to Notre Dame, and this is Kenny Minchie. He went 20 of 26, 76.9 completion percentage, and 196 yards with 2 rushing touchdowns. Maybe 2 touchdowns. But the way I wrote this is anyway. It was 2 rushing, right? Yeah, 2 rushing touchdowns from Notre Dame. Not too sure how good he's going to be. Again, limited tape, but I mean, Will Stein brought him in, and I feel like Will Stein might got an eye for what he like at quarterback. So, got to trust Will Stein here. They bring in Jordan Castell, like I said in the Florida segment, from a DB transfer DB who had 54 total tackles, 28 solos, and 2 picks. Jamarian Harkless, a D lineman from Purdue, which I know he like, man, look, give me out of Purdue. 13 total tackles, 4 solos, and 2.5 sacks. And Ahmad Brielle, a D lineman from LSU, had 19 total tackles, 8 solos, and half a sack, which not 8 solos, but I think that's solid for D tackles. But any transfers you highlighted, Joe?
Yeah, they got 3 new offensive linemen who all were starters in the SEC. And then you got, like, you talk about Kenny Minchie. That's big question mark. That's my big question mark for them right now. It's the quarterback position. Like, with the offensive mind that they have at head coach, I mean, you got to have the quarterback to match that. So that's my big issue with that. Like you said, CJ Baxter, I mean, I saw that. I was like,
Yeah. You know? I mean, y'all lost him, Quintravion Wisener. Like, I was like, dang, Texas.
Yeah, but we got some dogs though.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna talk about them. For sure.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man. You know, I like I said, the offensive lineman, and then like with these new coaches coming into these teams, man, these are overhauling. Like the guy, Will Stein.
I think it's Will Stein.
Will Stein, offensive minded head coach, offensive minded coach. 9 out of the 9, I said 9 or 8. 8 out of the 11 starters on offense are transfers.
Yeah, they only bring back 1 player, and that's Willie Rodriguez.
You know, so yeah.
So I'm not surprised.
And defense is not the same. Defense only got 5 transfers. So yeah, like it's up to the quarterback, literally.
Hey, shout out my boy Kev being up late with us. He said Carl got Joe talking college. This year number 2, I got Joe talking college, my boy. This ain't nothing new. Appreciate you being up with us. And we'll say, first of all, Archie is not in college football. I don't know who Archie is, but Arch, we'll talk about in the Texas segment. But we'll move on to some numbers again for the 4th out of 15. New head coach, new overhaul. So take these numbers with a grain of salt. And we're not done. There's also more new coaches, but take these numbers with a grain of salt. Well, they were 103rd in total offense, 67th in total defense, tied 99th in scoring offense, 75th in scoring defense, 94th in passing, 104th in pass defense, 86th in rushing, 45th in rush defense, 59th in third down conversion percentage, 77th on third down conversion percentage on defense, or getting off the field, tied 107th in red zone offense, tied 92nd in red zone defense. Just terrible last year. Still got some wins though, but they were terrible. Florida should be ashamed of themselves for losing to Kentucky the way they did last year. That was probably the game that got Napier up out of here. But we'll move on to the schedule, Joe. And I got a feeling we about to be on the opposite end of the spectrum.
I don't know.
First game of the year.
Maybe.
This used to be Michigan State's kickoff game. And they take on Youngstown State. I got this as a win. FCS school.
W.
All right, we move on to again first SEC game at home against Bama. Well, I got this as a loss.
L.
Then after Bama, on the road to Texas A&M. L.
I got an L too.
Thank you, Kev. I was about to comment right when I was about to put the comment up. Now back home against South Alabama, which I will say South Alabama. No slouches now. But this is a W.
Okay, W.
All right, then I will also say that South Carolina can lose to this team. Unfortunately, I seen it. They are on the road in Williams-Brice Stadium. I got South Carolina with the W. I have an L for Kentucky.
L for Kentucky.
All right. Then they go back home where they take on the Lane Train and LSU. Have this as a loss.
That's an L.
Dang, Kev got them being South Carolina. What the hell wrong with you? After LSU, they are on the road in Norman, taking on the Oklahoma Sooners. I have this as an L.
I got an L too.
That's where we might disagree, Joe, because they back at home, but they taking on the Vanderbilt Commodores. And I know I said I think it's Diego Pavia over Clark Lee, but I do think Vanderbilt is going to beat Kentucky.
In Kentucky, too.
In Lexington. I have this as an L.
I got it as a W.
I'm not. That is a swing game though, because I did have this as a W at first, and I changed it to an L. But next at Tennessee and Knoxville, I have this as an L.
I got it as an L too.
Then they go back home, where they did beat Florida last year, but I don't think John Summerall going for that. I got this as an L.
I got it as a W.
I don't think Summerall going for it, man. if they lose to Kentucky in back-to-back seasons, Summerall might get fired his first year. I'm joking, obviously, but Florida fans will be pissed. All right, so then they go on the road to, I think they play in Columbia, Missouri. I want to say it's Columbia, but anyway, at Missouri. That might shock you, Joe. I got to win here.
Oh, you do? Yeah, I know you're not high on Mizzou. I got L.
I think Mizzou's next. No, dang it. All right, and then the last game of the year is the Battle of the Blue. Is the Blue? I think it's called the Battle of the Bluegrass. It's the rivalry game against Louisville. They have big games. They just been losing this rivalry game so crazy of lately. I got an L against Louisville.
You got an L. It's funny because I watched your Louisville preview, and I saw that you guys had as a W for Louisville. So I went for it. I went with a W with Kentucky. Cause they're at home.
Hey, he just went against me just because I wanted the W. He said, all right, you want to pick Louisville? I'm pick Kentucky. Hey, man. Hey, my top 3 head coach. I don't think that he's going to beat my top 3 head coach, Jeff Brom, Louisville.
Oh, yeah.
Quarterback whisperer.
Uh-oh.
But, man, Kentucky. So I had 4-8, 2-7 until I changed the Vanderbilt game.
Dang.
I got Kentucky going 3-9, 1-8, taking the under 4.5.
I got them going 5-7, 2-7.
So you got it by the hook, the over. See, my thing is, again, a swing game being my only swing game is Vanderbilt. We better South Carolina better not lose to Kentucky. Ooh. Yeah, my only game I would change from an L to a W is Vanderbilt. Will Stein, I think, huh?
You said Florida, nah.
Nah, I think Florida better not. John Summerall better not. I just feel like Will Stein is going to eventually make Kentucky competitive. I just don't know about this year. Again, quarterback for me is a real big question mark. Haven't really seen much of him. But I think this is kind of. Well, I don't think. I was about to say this. No, this is a tough schedule. They got Bama, Texas A&M, LSU, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Louisville, Florida, South Carolina. Which again, South Carolina was terrible last year, but we were projected to be good. We just tanked it. So this is a tough schedule.
I said it too. I said that y'all gonna.
Yeah, I was gonna bring it up. Unfortunately, dang. He was like, "Man, a lot of people saying that South Carolina got bust material," and I was like, "I can see it. I hope not." And sure enough, that's what happened. But we'll move on. Guess what, Joe? Another team with a new head coach, the LSU Tigers.
They got a whole new team.
Yup, the Lane Train. Lane Kiffin left Ole Miss and said, hello, LSU. And on his way out, he started some controversy. You know, you had the whole, I don't know if I can say that word on Twitter, but we'll just say the disliking of a certain people for a certain color thing going on about Ole Miss, which he wasn't wrong, but I know that wasn't the reason why he left Ole Miss. He left Ole Miss because LSU is a more prestigious job. Just tell the truth. Like, it's okay. People do it all the time. You ain't the first. But he's taking over now. He's bringing over offensive coordinator, which was with him at Ole Miss, Charlie Weiss Jr. He was the Ole Miss coordinator from 2022 to 2025 and the quarterback's coach. And he's bringing in co-DC Joe Cox, who was 2024 and 2025 Ole Miss co-DC. No, I can't even. This is bad handwriting. But I got. Oh no, Joe Cox the co-OC. So he bad handwriting. He was a co-OC at Ole Miss as well, and the tight end coach. His DC is Blake Baker. So he has that's his new coaching staff there. LSU's coming off a 7-5, 3-5 season, which was very bad because LSU was projected one of the best teams in the SEC last year. Yeah. I was hounding them too, and I mean, I could say that I don't know if this is true or not, but Garrett Nussmeier was allegedly dealing with something in his back his entire year and just played through it. And it could explain why the offense wasn't as good as we all thought it would be, to be honest.
That line wasn't good either.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't. But they definitely did not live up to expectations. They did also lose in the Texas Bowl 38-35 to the Houston Cougars, which shout out to Willie Fritz, 10-game win season. You know what I'm saying? One of the other coaches I wanted Michigan State to have, but no, nobody listens to Carl. But yeah, man, just a very disappointing year for LSU. Talk to me about LSU before we get on to the returners and
well, like you see the lane train, man. You know, 3 straight 10+ win seasons with Ole Miss, first time in school history that ever happened.
So had 11. I think 11 is what the most they had in this regular season. I think
probably. You know, I looked it up and said they never had 10 straight wins. And you know, the offensive line is a question mark for me. You know, I know we're going to talk about the transfer. It did pick up a transfer that could definitely help the offensive line. And they brought in Sam. You want to talk about that too? They got a new quarterback. You know, and. But yeah, man, with Lane Kiffin being over there, anything is really possible, man. I'm not gonna lie. You know, with the offensive mind that he has, and like I said, you saw what he did with Ole Miss. I was high on Ole Miss too. In our previews, I had them falling in that tiebreaker to get to the SEC championship game.
Which that's what happened. They lost it though. Because they went 11-1 and they lost the tiebreaker to Georgia because they lost them in the regular season.
I think I had them losing in the I think I did. Or did I have them in the game? I don't remember. I remember I had them tying for like 4 different schools. So, but yeah, man, Lane. I will say this: a lot of pressure is on him too. The way he left Ole Miss, going to like I love the fact that they got them playing him early in the season. Thank you. In Ole Miss too, over there too. So, and what Ole Miss did last year after he left. It adds more pressure.
Made the semifinals.
And especially what he said. Remember what he said? He said, if I was there, we would have
won it. I'm like, bro, you could have been there. What are you talking about?
He said, I don't know we would have beat Indiana, but we would have beat Miami. I was like, dang.
But I will say that this year was like the first year in the whole transfer portal where they had like a window. So I get why he left, but like, bro, you could have been there. But if he'd have stayed, it would have ruined his transfers, like him getting his transfers for this upcoming season. Because I think by the time the Miami game came, I think the portal was closing, if I'm not mistaken, or was about to. Like he wouldn't have had much time to recruit. Basically, he'd have had to do some like dirty in terms of like dirty macking. Like, yeah, I'm coaching, but I got some guys like recruiting for me while I'm coaching.
Oh yeah, okay. But wasn't somebody doing that though?
Not that I know of. Maybe
there's somebody from the
you talking about Washington? You talking about Damon Williams? How he was getting recruited by LSU and then he didn't go?
No, it's not from a Power 5 school though. It's from another. He won the conference championship game. And they got into the.
Oh, you talking about because Tulane had. Unless you talking about Summerall. You talking about John Summerall?
It probably is him. Yeah. I think it probably. Yeah, I remember that he was saying he was working 2 jobs at the same time.
It might have been Summerall because Summerall didn't leave to coach the college football first round game, but he knew he was getting spanked anyway. But it might have been him.
He said he left.
No, he didn't. Or unless you're talking about Bob Chesney, because Bob Chesney also won JMU, and then he took the UCLA job.
I think it was JMU. Yes,
it was probably Bob Chesney.
I think it was JMU. Yeah. But basically, they said he was working 2 jobs at the same time.
Yeah, I think you're talking about Bob Chesney because I think I remember Chesney saying that. But yeah, man, I think that's why Lane left. But hey, it worked out in my opinion because I feel like Ole Miss loves Pete Golden, which we'll talk about later. And Lane got the job. He won it. I don't want to say desperately. He won it. I mean, I feel like this is where Lane been working towards his whole career, and he's finally there. So like you said, I'm excited for LSU Ole Miss. I ain't gonna say I can't wait because I want to savor the season, but I'm excited for that game. But yeah, they returned 8 starters, 5 on offense, 2 being O linemen, and 3 on defense. And 2 of the starting returners I have are running backs. They returned Caden Durham, a running back with 111 carries, 505 yards. As I'm trying to bring I can't see my mouse. There we go. 4.6 a carry and 3 touchdowns. And Harlem Berry, a running back with 104 carries, 491 yards. It's 4.7 a carry and 2 touchdowns. That looked like 11.7. I need to work on my handwriting sometimes. They also bring back a 6. I think he's 6'7", tight end, Trades Green.
Yeah.
A cheat code. I have not played NCAA 20 or college football 27, by the way, and kind of glad because of that. I know people spamming him. But he's a tight end who had 33 catches, 433 yards, and 7 touchdowns last year. They returned Whit Weeks, a linebacker who had 28 total tackles, 13 solos, a sack, and a fumble recovery. Tamarcus Cooley, a defensive back who had 72 total tackles, 41 solos, 2 pass breakups, and 2 picks. PJ Willen, a cornerback who had 38 total tackles, 29 solos, a sack, 8 pass breakups, and 2 picks. They do lose Garrett Nussmeier on the Chiefs. And they said everybody that goes to the Chiefs just gets some type of Mahomes magic because the pass he completed in the preseason. I thought that was hilarious. But he went 194, 288, 67.4% completion percentage, 1,927 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 5 picks. They lose Barry and Brown to the Saints, a receiver at 53 catches, 532 yards, and a touchdown. Xavier Thomas, a receiver on the Bears, 41 catches, 488 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Aaron Anderson, a receiver at 33 catches, 398 yards. AJ Halsey, a safety on the Colts, 89 total tackles, 49 solos, 4 pass breakups, 3 picks, and a forced fumble. West Weeks, a linebacker with 76 total tackles, 32 solos, 2.5 sacks, and a pass breakup. On the Colts, Mansour Delaney, top 10 cornerback drafted on the Chiefs, had 45 total tackles, 28 solos, 11 pass breakups, and 2 picks. Harold Perkins Jr., who I will say, beyond that Arkansas game where he had 4 sacks, did not live up to the hype, in my opinion, that I had for him and a lot of people had for him, at least in my opinion. But he's on the Falcons, 55 total tackles, 26 solos, 4 sacks, 3 pass breakups, 3 interceptions, a fumble recovery, and a forced fumble. Now, this is one of the guys, again, who may be lost in Jack Pyburn because they are saying that it's rumored that he's asking to be let out of his NFL contract to come back to LSU. The edge rusher with 51 total tackles, 15 solos, 2 sacks, 2 pass breakups, and a fumble recovery. And Patrick Payton, a guy who I feel like was super overrated. Edge rusher had 34 total tackles, 17 solos, a sack, 6 pass breakups, and a fumble recovery. Jacobian Guillory, a deep tackle that's on the Chargers. Jacobian Guillory Jr., 21 total tackles, 7 solos, and a sack and a half. And Bernard Gooden, a deep tackle at 21 total tackles, 7 solos, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble. Joe, anybody you want to talk about before we go to the transfers?
You mentioned that Caden Durham, like that was a big keeper because he went into the transfer portal and he withdrew from it. So he could have left, which is good. And you mentioned him, 6'7", 232, Trades Green. Red zone target. He had 7 TDs last year as a tight end. So with Lane, I know he's gonna use him well, especially in the red zone. 6'7". That's on that. That's on
crazy.
20. I know that's on 20. How tall are Tony Gonzalez and Graham and all them?
I want to say Graham and Gonzalez were 6'6". I can look them up individually. I want to say for sure Graham was 6'6".
Yeah,
Graham was 6'7".
There you go.
And Tony Gonzalez,
He probably 6'7", 6'6" too.
yes, Gonzalez was. Why they don't got his height right here? That's kind of crazy. I got to look it up differently. It ain't like Graham's for whatever reason. He was 6'5".
Oh dang! Shout out to him.
Yeah, I was thinking more like Ricky Seals Jones. I don't know if y'all remember him.
Ricky Seals Jones, yes.
Ricky Seals Jones was 6'5". I don't know if y'all remember him from Texas A&M. Yeah. But yeah, man, for sure. I think, like you said, he's going to use them right. I feel like sometimes in the red zone, who was last year's coach? Brian Kelly. I feel like they didn't really use him as much as they should have. Which, I mean, hey, anything to get Brian Kelly up out of here.
Brian Kelly.
Get him out of here. But LSU had the 2nd overall recruiting class. Lane went to work. Best transfer class, just went crazy in recruiting. Brought in 41 recruits. Some I highlighted. Former Spartan, you know what I'm saying? I got to highlight the Spartans. Sam Levitt. Sam Levitt, Joe, was at Michigan State.
Okay.
When we had We chose over Sam Levitt, Noah Kim,
Hmm.
and Caden Hauser. We let Sam Levitt walk. No. Matter of fact, I think we chose Aiden Childs over Sam Levitt. That's what it was. The guy that tried to throw the ball out of bounds and threw a pick. Yeah, we chose that over Sam Levitt. And Sam Levitt went to Arizona State and won a Big 12 championship. While we over here can't even make a bowl game. But yeah, he's mainly from Arizona State, but I had to let the people know he was a Spartan first.
But he would have stayed if he got burned.
If Jonathan Smith wouldn't have brought his guy over, absolutely. Jonathan Smith might be a Michigan State coach to this day. But Pat Fitzgerald's here now. No need to worry about old news. But Sam Levitt had 145 and 239, 60.7% completion percentage, 1,628 yards, 10 touchdowns and 3 picks, 306 yards and 5 on the ground as well. He dealt with some injuries last year, though, at Arizona State. Winston Watkins. I think this is probably the biggest receiver pickup for me, in my opinion. I love Jace Brown from K-State. I'm going to talk about him in a second. But Winston Watkins played at Ole Miss last year. He was with Lane Kiffin. He's young. He's a sophomore this year. And as a freshman, he had 26 catches, 373 yards, and a touchdown, which you might be thinking, Carl, that's not even crazy stats. But you got to think he was behind Caden Lee. He was behind Trey Wallace, behind Daquan Wright. He was behind some guys, Deshaun Striblin, who just got drafted to the 49ers. He was behind like 4 different guys, and he still was able to contribute at a solid level as a freshman. So I think that's really big for LSU. Jace Brown, another deep threat guy from Kansas State. 41 catches, 712 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Again, 40 catches, 700 yards. That's incredible yards per catch, average. So another big pickup there. Ty Benfield, who has been outstanding at safety, in my opinion, at Boise State, coming over to LSU. Somebody touted DBU. But the safety had 105 tackles, 69 solos, 3 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. TJ Daugherty, again, Ole Miss guy at linebacker, 98 total tackles, 48 solos, a sack and a half, 2 pass breakups, and 2 forced fumbles. And then I got 2 more receivers for you, Joe. Trey Wilson, Eugene Wilson from Florida, 27 catches, 239 yards, 3 touchdowns. And here's a sleeper pickup. He balled at Hawaii last year. Jackson Harris balled with Micah Alejado, had 49 catches, 963 yards, and 12 touchdowns at Hawaii. I think Lane Kiffin's going to love this guy. He's also I think he's like 6'2" or something like that. I think he's going to love him. Any transfers you highlighted, Joe?
Man, Sam Levitt, man. He has SEC Player of the Year potential. I'm going to say that, Carl.
Maybe.
I'm going to say that. He even have Heisman, potential.
Hey, that episode comes out next Wednesday.
So that's what I would say. I thought, like you said, he went to work this offseason with the transfers, and getting Sam Levitt was a big pickup. Big pickup. And now I know I mentioned the offensive line is a concern with me, but they did pick up Jordan Seaton.
Seaton, facts.
And they picked up Jordan Seaton, was from Colorado, which was a big pickup for them for the O-line. So I think they get the O-line straight, and because Sam Levitt is very talented, I think get the O-line straight. I think LSU could be super dangerous in the SEC this year.
Facts. I 100% agree with you. And I agree with what you said about potential SEC Player of the Year, potential Davey O'Brien, potential Heisman, Walter Camp, Maxwell, all that for Sam Levitt, for sure. Some numbers for LSU now, again, for the 5th out of 6 time. Take these with a grain of salt. 109th for total offense, 27th for total defense, 101st in scoring offense, tied 23rd in scoring defense, 61st in passing, 42nd in pass defense, 124th in rushing, 32nd in rush defense, 95th in third down conversion percentage on offense, 26th on third down conversion percentage on defense, tied 85th in red zone offense, tied 14th in red zone defense. But now the fun part, Joe.
Let's get
to the LSU schedule.
All right. Let's see how you thinking.
I'm going to keep it short and sweet, Joe.
Oh.
They win every game except Ole Miss. I got it like Georgia. They only lost to me as Ole Miss.
I got them losing to Ole Miss. On which one that?
I know the other one.
Texas, man.
Of course. I knew it.
Come on, man. Got to lose in Texas.
I got to be in Texas. I'm sorry, Joe. At Death Valley, too. At the crib. I got to be in Texas. No. LSU's at the crib. Y'all on the road.
No. Oh, you're right. LSU is. You're right. You're right. I'm tripping. And then they finished the season off on the road twice.
The battle of the boot, and I don't think Tennessee and LSU's a rivalry. But yeah, I got 11-1, 8-1.
I got 10-2, 7-2.
All right, and then for those of you that don't have the schedule or don't know, I'm going to say the schedule who they play in order.
My bad.
My fault. Yeah, though. I didn't change it. Oh, gosh, I did not change it. But the over under is, I believe, 8.5. Yes, 8.5. So we both got the over 8.5. I actually might play this. No funny. I legit might play this. But the first game of the year is both, funny enough, are the Tigers. Both of their home stadiums called Death Valley. It's at home against Clemson. They go play Louisiana Tech at home. First road game, Ole Miss. Get third game of the year. Super excited for that. Then it's at home against Texas A&M and McNeese. Then on the road to Kentucky. At home against Mississippi State. On the road to Auburn. At home against Bama. That game is always fun. At home against Texas. And the last two games on the road against Tennessee and Arkansas. Again, I have 11-1, 8-1. Joe has 10-2, 7-2.
Yes, sir.
So we have a big year for LSU this year, and we'll move on to Mississippi State, man. No new head coach this year, but maybe one, depending on how we feel about Mississippi State. Might be a new head coach next year. But Jeff Lebby is coming off of a 5-7, 1-7 season where he did make a bowl game. Not the traditional route, however. He made it because Iowa State couldn't be in a bowl game. They had a ton of injuries. Then their head coach left, so like they couldn't play in a bowl game. Kansas State, for whatever reason, didn't play in a bowl game. I don't know why. They didn't have the injuries. I know they coach left, but they didn't have the injuries. They could have had an interim head coach step in and just play the bowl game, but they chose not to play. Notre Dame took their ball and went home because they didn't make the playoffs, which was weak as a mug. So teams didn't play in bowls, so they gave Mississippi State a bowl game, and they got spanked 43-27. No, 29 against Wake Forest. And I ain't going to lie, it says the 2-touchdown game. That game wasn't a 2-touchdown game. It really wasn't. But they do bring in a new defensive coordinator. They bring in Zach Arnett, who was the defensive coordinator at Mississippi State from 2020 to 2022. He was also the head coach of Mississippi State in 2023. So he's back at Mississippi State, but this time as a DC. Mississippi State had some close games. I remember, I want to say they won the OT. Was it Tennessee? I know they had some close games this year. They beat Arizona State. They should not have beat Arizona State last year. Brennan Thompson burnt them late in the ball game on a deep ball, which I don't know what Arizona State was thinking. He got behind the defense after Sam Levitt led a drive to put Arizona State on top after Arizona State went scoreless in the first half. And they won that game. I know Mississippi State was in some ball games. The Egg Bowl was close for some time before Ole Miss just ran away. Yeah, that's Mississippi. Mississippi State's called the Egg Bowl. Don't blame me, blame them. But they were in some games. Now it kind of got away from them later in the ball game because Ole Miss was just quite clearly the better team. But I mean, Mississippi State didn't get blown out every game for whatever that's worth. But Jeff Lebby, sympathy only lasts so much. You ain't got that many. I think he has one SEC win in the last 2 years, which was last year. They beat Arkansas, and Arkansas beat nobody in the SEC last year. So is that? I mean, how do you think the higher ups are looking at that? It was Tennessee. They won the overtime with last year. They won the overtime with Tennessee. They went to overtime with Texas, and that was it for the close game. And they beat Arkansas in a close one. Florida was close, 23-21. They lost. So they had some close games, like I said, but Texas A&M was a blowout. Georgia was a blowout, but that's Georgia. Mizzou was a blowout. And then, like I said, Ole Miss ran away with it late. But anything you want to say about Mississippi State?
Not really. I am not high on Mississippi State at all.
You and me both. Yeah, he went. Yeah, my fault. He went winless in 2024 in the SEC and then won one game against winless Arkansas last year in the SEC.
Yeah, I'm not high on him at all. I mean, his secondary is pretty good.
Sorry, Jeff, man. Might be your last year, man. I don't like saying that, but it's just unfortunate. You're on a hot seat, yeah. But they returned 7 starters, 2 on offense, one of them being an O-lineman, and 5 on defense. They returned Anthony Evans III, a receiver who had 67 catches 831 yards and 4 touchdowns. Isaac Smith, a safety, who had 64 total tackles, 14 solos, a sack, 3 pass breakers, a pick, and a fumble recovery. Zachary Tillman, a linebacker, who had 47 total tackles, 15 solos, a sack, a pass breaker, a pick, and a forced fumble. Calvin Dinkins, a D lineman, who had 27 total tackles, 5 solos, and 2 sacks. Kelly Jones, a cornerback, who had 34 total tackles, 20 solos, 11 pass breakups, and 2 picks. And Travion Williams, a D lineman, with 20 total tackles, 4 solos, a sack, a pass breakup, and 2 forced fumbles. They lose Blake Shapen, who I never thought was that good at quarterback. 195, a 303, 64.4% completion percentage, 2,433 yards, 15 touchdowns to 8 picks. Devon Booth, a running back on the Browns, who had 136 carries, 553 yards, 4.1 a carry, and 7 touchdowns. Brennan Thompson, a receiver on the Chargers, who had 57 catches, 1,054 yards, and 6 touchdowns, who was the lone bright spot of Mississippi State last year. Seydou Traore, a tight end on the Dolphins, 35 catches, 369 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Jerron Madden, safety, who had 91 total tackles, 36 solos, 5 pass breakups, and a pick. Nick Mitchell, a linebacker, who had 78 total tackles, 17 solos, 2.5 sacks, a pick, and a fumble recovery. Brylan Lanier, a safety, who had 67 total tackles, 37 solos, a sack, 2 pass breakups, and 4 interceptions. Kendrick Bingley Jones, a D lineman who transferred to Alabama, 25 total tackles, 3 solos, and a pass breakup. And Diego Brumfield, a cornerback, who had 36 total tackles, 22 solos, 4 pass breakups, and a pick. Anybody you want to talk about before we move on to the transfers, Joe?
I mean, the good thing about it, they kept their trio. You know what I mean? They kept the quarterback, receiver, and running back. Camario
Taylor.
Camario Taylor. And Fluff Bothwell. So all 3 of them, they brought all 3 back, so they get that chemistry there. I think Anthony was a leading receiver, and Fluff was a leading rusher last year. So
yeah, and Camario Taylor, boy, is that man fast.
Yeah.
He's fast. That boy is, hey, he made fast people look not so fast. And Camario's athletic. Now, I got some questions with him throwing that ball now, but he's an athlete for sure.
Yeah.
And I like Fluff Bothwell. I think Fluff Bothwell run well between the tackles. He's a guy that does well in open space. And like you said, they returned their leading receiver, and Anthony Evans. So
that's good.
That is solid, but is it enough? They were the 27th overall recruiting class, 40th in transfers, bringing 27, and I have 9 O-linemen that they brought in from the transfer portal because, again, they have to retool that whole line because, man, that is big. If you want to win games in the SEC, you got to win the trenches.
Got to have the trenches, yeah.
So some transfers I hired. I mean, I highlighted. I highlighted AJ Swan, but again, they have Camario Taylor, so he's more so of a backup. From App State, 130 of 222, 58.6 completion percentage, 1,495 yards, 10 touchdowns, 8 picks. I highlighted him because I believe in the bowl game, Camario Taylor ended up getting hurt. So I did see him get, if I remember correctly, I did see him get hurt. So just in case, not wishing injury upon nobody, I actually wish he has a healthy season. But just in case, they do have a guy with some experience. Quentin Taylor Jr., cornerback from Iowa State, 27 total tackles, 21 solos, and 5 pass breakups. Marcus Williams, that name haunts me, but a safety. So again, another haunting thing. But from Rice, 67 total tackles, 46 solos, 5 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. And Jason Jenkins, a D lineman from Florida State, who has 17 total tackles, 5 solos, and a sack. Anybody you want to highlight in the transfer portal, Joe?
I mean, they didn't go too crazy in the transfer portal for real. I mean, just Marquise Johnson. That's the only person but
I did have him highlighted too. I didn't say it, but
you know, they added him as a receiver starter. But they didn't really go too crazy in the transfer portal. So, and that's what I was surprised about. You know, I feel like when you're a bad team, I mean, with the transfer portal being here, you got to kind of like go to work and try to revamp the team. But they
that's
brought
true.
back a lot of guys. You know,
that's true. But people also got to want to come to your school too, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, you know, I got Mississippi State on one hand, but I might got, let's just say, Auburn, Arkansas. Like, I might choose those 2 over Mississippi State. I'm not going to lie. Crazy. But, yeah, I did have Marquise Johnson run down receiver from Mizzou. But these are some numbers, and you can take these. You can take these because not a new coaching staff, but 55th in total offense, 105th in total defense, 42nd in scoring offense, 106th in scoring defense, 53rd in passing, 78th in pass defense, 68th in rushing, 45th in rush defense, 43rd in third down conversion percentage on offense, tied 92nd on third down conversion percentage on defense, 42nd in red zone offense, but 52nd in red zone defense. So again, the DC hire makes a ton of sense because last year defense was the weak link of the team. But we can move on to the schedule. First game of the year. At least you start off 1-0. You play UL Monroe. I have this as a win.
W.
Not gonna lie, y'all. After that, I have them losing every game except for against Tennessee Tech. I have them beating Tennessee Tech. Other than that, I have them losing every SEC game, and I have them losing Minnesota.
I don't know if you remember, but I got them losing every game after that, except Texas Tech, Tennessee Tech. And remember, I got them beating Auburn.
Yes. So I have Mississippi State at 2-10, 0-9, and for sure Jeff Levy gets fired after that, taking the under 4.5 win total.
I actually got them 3-9, 1-8. And you said the over and under is what?
4.5.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to say everybody they play for those that's out there listening. So they play at home against UL Monroe. This is in order. At Minnesota, at South Carolina, at home against Mizzou, at home against Bama, on the road against LSU, at home against Oklahoma, on the road against Texas, at home against Vandy, at home against Auburn, at home against Tennessee Tech, and on the road against Ole Miss. Which, hey, the SEC must not like Jeff Levy because this is a tough schedule for Mississippi State. You play Bama, you play LSU, you play Oklahoma, you play Texas. Ole Miss is your rival, so you got to play them every year. It's like, dang, that's a tough schedule. But your SEC team got to figure it out. And we'll just move it right along. This is who I was excited to talk about right here. Joe, what the world just happened? I got too excited and pulled StreamYard out of my my tabs, and now it's not going back. There we go. We back. We back. Mizzou, the Missouri Tigers. Man, Joe, I will say this. I might not be the greatest source of information when it comes to Mizzou because I don't think I really nailed down Mizzou greatly of late. I don't remember what I had them last year. I don't know if I had them doing really well or not, but I mean, they went 8-4, 4-4, which is solid. They had a new quarterback in Bo Perbula who now dipped and went to Virginia. They do bring in an OC this year. They bring in Chip Lindsey, who was Michigan's OC last year, which Michigan offense kind of sucked last year. So I don't know how I feel about that. So yeah, there's that. They did lose their bowl game. I don't know how UVA and Mizzou became a defensive battle in the Gator Bowl. That took me by surprise. Mizzou only scored one touchdown, and I think it was late in the ball game. They got shut out in the first half. I was very surprised about that. But Eli Drinkwitz he's been stacking good seasons at Mizzou. I will give him that. But I kind of want to rush it because I'm so excited to see why you're so high on Mizzou, but I'm going to chill. They returned 7 starters, 6 on offense, 3 of them being O-line, and then only 1 on defense. So complete retoolment basically of the defense. But I will say this, they were solid. They had a solid defense. They had a great run game, and the running back does return, which we'll talk about in a second. But quarterback, it's
that's your boy, right?
To me. And we'll talk about it, but talk to me about Mizzou.
I mean, it's crazy. I'm trying to look at my record from last year. Oh, here it goes, right here. I had them going 8-4 last year.
Okay, salute.
Yeah, and they ended up going 8-4, right?
8-4, 4-4.
Yeah, I had them going 8. Yeah, 8-4. I had them going 8-4 and 5-3.
Hey, that's that's as close as you can be without being perfect. So
yeah, but and the over was 7.5. It was 7.5. I had the over. So
I think I had the under. I'm pretty sure I had the under on Mizzou last year. I might have had it like 6-6 or something like that. It's
funny because I do think they run game, with Amon Hardy is a big thing. But I know he's dealing with an injury right now. I'm not sure.
He's dealing with he got. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. Bang bang.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you can say that word on YouTube because of guidelines.
Okay, that's cool. Well,
but you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. I mean, I said, but like he, so I'm not sure when is he supposed to start.
I think he's supposed to be good. But I know
Yeah.
it's kind of, you can't really tell with those types of incidents. But I think it's supposed to be good. With salute, man. I wish him nothing but the best because it's crazy what the story behind that was. Allegedly, I don't know the reason why. I just know it was allegedly a former high school teammate.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look into that. But Austin Simmons, right?
Yeah.
Now,
This is what I wanted to talk about right
I don't
here.
know if you remember last year, I had him as a potential SEC player of the year. I don't know if you remember this.
I didn't actually.
Yeah, I actually had him up there as a potential SEC player of the year. And then Trinidad James took over, and then we know that it was history after that. Trying to see if I can find it.
I got. Hey, since you're looking for something,
You
it
got it,
says
sir.
right here that he's unlikely to be ready week 1.
Yeah, I'm saying like that's the only thing he might go into the season not playing. So, but yeah, that's what I'm gonna say right now. I think the run game is a strength, obviously, and Austin Simmons, like he kind of got stuff to prove without having done nothing yet.
Nah, he did something. He did something all right. We'll talk about it in the transfers.
Go ahead. Let's keep moving.
We'll keep moving. So again, Ahmad Hardy is back, but had a very unfortunate incident. So we don't know what his status is and how long it will take for him to be back from recovery. He's back at the school, but we don't know how long the recovery is. But last year, he was one of the best backs, not only in the country at running the football, but yards after contact. I believe he had the most yards after contact in the country. But I actually think his yards after contact in the country was like top 5 in terms of people's yards, period. It was something crazy like that. But he won 256 carries, 1,649 yards, 6.4 carry, and 16 touchdowns. And for those who say that Group of 5 school players can't play at the next level or G4 level, this was a University of Louisiana Monroe running back. If you don't know, Louisiana Monroe normally is trash. He went to Mizzou in the SEC and did this. Some say the best conference. So a lot say the best conference. So trust them Group of 5 school players, man. I ain't saying all of them, but you can trust them. But they returned Jordan Harris, a tight end, 4 catches, 48 yards. Brett Norfleet, a tight end with 31 catches, 254 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Marquise Grissel, a D lineman who had 16 total tackles, 8 solos, a pass breakup, and a forced fumble. Now, again, they lose a ton defensively, but on offensively, they lose Bo Perbula. He went to Virginia, a quarterback who went 182 or 270, 67.4 completion percentage, 1,941 yards, 11 touchdowns to 9 interceptions, 297 yards on the ground with 6 extra touchdowns. Lose Kevin Coleman Jr., drafted to the Dolphins, 66 catches, 732 yards, a touchdown at receiver. Marquise Johnson, a receiver who we just talked about going to Mississippi State, 28 catches, 348 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Josh Manning, a receiver who transferred to K-State, 29 catches, 318 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Lose Josiah Trotter to the NFL, a linebacker to the Bucs, 84 total tackles, 43 solos, 2 sacks, and a pass breakup. Zion Young, edge rusher to the Ravens, 42 total tackles, 20 solos, 6.5 sacks, 2 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles. Damon Wilson Jr., D lineman to the U, 23 total tackles, 9 solos, 9 sacks, 2 pass breakups, a pick, and a fumble recovery. Toriano Pride, cornerback on the Bills, 24 total tackles, 17 solos, 4 pass breakups, 2 picks, a pick 6, and a fumble recovery. Chris McClellan, a defensive tackle to the Packers, 48 total tackles, 15 solos, 6 sacks, and 2 pass breakups. Marvin Burks Jr., safety, transferred to Wisconsin, 49 total tackles, 27 solos, a pass breakup, a pick 6, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. Dre Norwood, a cornerback who had 24 total tackles, 15 solos, and 5 pass breakups. And Khalil Jacobs, a linebacker on the Patriots, 47 total tackles, 19 solos, 3 sacks, and 2 pass breakups. Anybody want to talk about before we get into transfers?
I mean, we talked about Ahmad Hardy, who's a returning player. We talked about him already. And Kaden Green, the offensive lineman they got, who also is an All-American as far as the preseason. Was going to help Austin Simmons for sure. But I want to let's get into the transfers.
Yeah, man, let's get into Austin Simmons. Let's just jump right into it. But first of all, I got to chill because I got to announce that they had the 23rd overall recruiting class, which is really good, and 20th in transfers, having 30 transfers. But now let's talk about Austin Simmons. For as bad as we consider Kentucky last year, do you know Austin Simmons is the reason why that game was a game? If Austin Simmons does not get hurt and Trinidad Champions take over, they might lose to Kentucky, but 2, they for sure don't go 11-1, 8-1, and don't make the playoffs. As Austin Simmons is the quarterback. Austin Simmons looked terrible at Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, 2 turnovers.
He had 5 picks to 4 touchdowns in 2 games, 2 or 3 games, and I don't even think they were complete games. I seen the little bit that I saw from Austin Simmons, and I was good off it, which leads me to believe, what the heck was Trinidad Chambliss doing in that camp that year to not win the starting job over Austin Simmons? Was Austin Simmons promised the job? Like, I don't get. I'm really confused on why didn't Trinidad win that job from the start. But I am so out on Austin Simmons, and which is why I said I'm so low on Mizzou. Like, I'm done with Austin Simmons. Get him out of here. But he comes in from Ole Miss, who went 45-75, 60% completion percentage, 744 yards, 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. They bring in Caden Lee, who is his receiver that followed him from Ole Miss. And I like Caden Lee. 44 catches, 635 yards, and 3 touchdowns. They bring in Robert Woodard Jr., linebacker from Auburn, 67 total tackles, 47 solos, 2 sacks, and a pass breakup. Elijah Dotson, a cornerback from Michigan, 11 total tackles, 9 solos, and a pick. Chris Graves Jr., cornerback from Ole Miss, 33 total tackles, 21 solos, 4 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. And Mark Hensley, a D lineman from Northern Illinois, 32 total tackles, 18 solos, and a sack. Talk to me about the transfers, Joe.
I mean, I was just going to talk about Caden Lee. I thought that was a big pickup, bringing him from Ole Miss, somebody that Austin Simmons is familiar with, and bringing in Austin Simmons. So, like, we'll see what happens. It's crazy because I did my record. I'm like, dang, you might think I'm high on them. But I'm not, though. It's like, that's just how the record fell in my lap. You know what I mean? So, but we'll see, man. I like I said, Austin Simmons was my preseason. He was part of my preseason. He was my on a bubble SEC Player of the Year. I'm with you, though. I'm with you, but those are the first game. I forgot who they played. They played some sorry teams.
They played Kentucky and some other.
No, Kentucky was the second game, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember the first game, but I think it was probably just.
Yeah, he threw 2 picks. Yeah, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. In that first game, but they won like 60-something to 7. Like,
I gotta look it up, but I don't think it was anybody great.
Yeah, they won by almost 50 points. So, but then the Kentucky game, I get it.
Oh,
but also,
I might have been wrong. Hold on.
What?
Oh, no, it was Georgia State.
But then I could look at my boy Arch Manning. He played terrible against Kentucky also. I mean, sorry, I'm tripping. I'm thinking about Florida. Oh my God.
I was gonna say Arch Manning played Ohio State, my boy. I don't think you're on the same caliber team right now.
I'm thinking about Florida. Oh man. All right.
But yeah, man. So first game of the year. Hey man. You're gonna start with a dub, but don't throw 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Arkansas Pine Bluff. I do have this as a win.
I got a dub.
Then they play at Kansas. And I love me some Lance Leipold, man. But Lance Leipold has not recaptured that magic of the first year. That is the head coach of Kansas, by the way, Josh. So you look at me crazy. I do have this as a win.
It's crazy. I got it as a win too. I wrote down Kentucky.
Oh.
But it's Kansas, yeah.
It's at Kansas. Next. At home against Troy. Which, I mean, Troy didn't make the Sun Belt Championship game last year, but Gerard Parker has a terrible record at Troy. I do have this as a win.
W. Okay, 3-0.
3-0. Hey, make it 4-0 because they play at Mississippi State.
Okay, 4-0.
I have them losing every game after this.
Dang! Every game?
I had them. Okay, so I had them winning against Oklahoma to end the year, but I changed it. I was like, senior night, you can't go out like this, but I changed it.
I got them losers. I got them. Okay. I got them going 8-4.
You're not high on them.
That's what I'm saying. I did my record. I'm like, dang, you might think I'm high on them.
All right, I'm gonna do it. So Florida.
Florida, W.
Then at home against Texas A&M.
W.
All right, bro. Okay. At Ole Miss.
L.
At Arkansas, which I can see them winning this game. I will say this. I can see them beating Arkansas. Okay, Arkansas is not unwinnable. I just have it as an L because I just feel like Austin Simmons, I'm cool off him. But I can see them beating Arkansas. Texas, I don't even have to ask.
Oh,
I'm about to say I don't have to ask you.
Yeah.
At Georgia, I don't have to ask you. Kentucky is another game. I can see them winning. They can beat Kentucky. I have them as a win. I feel like I like Will Stein over Eli Drinkers, even though this is Will Stein, his first head coach. And I know Kenny's a question mark, but I know Austin Simmons is bad in my opinion, so I went with question mark. So
Oklahoma's L.
Yeah, Oklahoma is an L. So hold on, you got Florida as a win, Texas A&M as a win, Kentucky and Arkansas. Okay, so I will say this: 2 of your 4 wins in the SEC, I can see as wins. So I won't like. I can see my record flipping to 6-6, 3-6, and I'd be like, all right, cool, that's understandable. Yeah, I don't see no world where they beat Texas A&M, and I'm not even high on Texas A&M.
What's the over and under on this?
6.5. You got the over. I got the under.
Yeah, I got them 5-4 in the conference. So.
I'll say this: you're higher on Mizzou than I am on Texas A&M. I don't see a world they beat Texas A&M. Florida, I feel like Florida John Summerall can't go like that.
Oh yeah, new head coach. Yeah,
I can't go like that. Like I said, I got 2 swing games that I can see happening. I can see Arkansas and I can see Kentucky happening for sure. Just works out that I don't have them as wins, like in terms of solidly, but I can see them. I can see 6-6 and making a bowl game.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I mean, it's funny because Mizzou, I don't know why, but I don't know, this was an accident. I didn't look at last year, and I got them going 8-4 again, and 5-4. No, they went. I said 5-3 last year.
Yeah, because it was 8 games, they went 4-4.
Yeah, but no, no.
We'll see. I mean, yeah, we'll see. And like I said,
recap, you know.
And like I said at the top of the Mizzou segment, I might not be the greatest beacon of information for Mizzou. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm just so out on Austin Simmons as a quarterback. It made me look at Mizzou in disgust. I'm sorry.
Dang.
I'm sorry. And he can prove me wrong, and I would be happy. I mean, I'm not rooting against the kid. Just saying from what I saw. That's all it is. But we can move forward to Oklahoma. Norman, Oklahoma, your rivals.
Yes, it is. Who we be spanking though?
I did beat them last year. They're coming off a 10-2, 6-2 season where they did lose in the college football playoff first round, 34-24 at Bama. I mean, not at Bama, versus Bama. They were in Norman. I think they brought out 50 Cent, and they was like, man, they charged up Texas bringing out 50 Cent playing Mini-Men. That's exactly what happened. And then they lost. They charged up Bama playing Mini-Men. But anyway, they returned, tied with Georgia, 14 starters, 8 on offense, 6 on defense. So they bringing back a lot from the team that made the playoffs. And I will say this, Oklahoma, they were good. I feel like John Mateer rushed back from that injury, though. I think he rushed back because of the Red River rivalry game against Ja. He wanted to play in, and I think it kind of hurt him in that offense. Also, I don't think the running game was that good last year either, from what I remember. So,
offense sucked last year.
Yeah, but I think that was in large part due to Mateer rushing back, because Mateer had a hand injury, and I want to say it was in his throwing hand. And I remember making a video about how he could come back and possibly still win the Heisman, but he rushed it, and they still went 10-2 though. Bama, that was because Bama offensively was terrible in that Bama-Oklahoma game. They're looking to bring back their guys and elevate the offense. But anything you want to say about Oklahoma before we talk about returnees and losses?
Elite defense. I mean, we're talking about a unit carrying the whole team. That's what happened with Oklahoma last year. You know, their offense was not good at all. The offense struggled, and the defense carried them. But they also got a potential SEC player of the year. Defensive player of the year.
Oh, okay. So I'm about to say offensively. I don't know. Who you talking about? Hold on. Is you talking about not Kip Lewis? Not Eli. Who you talking about defensively? Kip Lewis. Is that what you're talking about?
No, go ahead and name the return players and transfers in there. I'll let you know.
All right, cool. So they returned John Mateer, quarterback, who went 247 and 397 last year, 62.2% completion percentage, 2,885 yards, 14 touchdowns, 11 picks, 431 rush yards, and 8 more rushing touchdowns on the ground. Torrey Blaylock, who I believe Torrey Blaylock showed some explosiveness last year. If you can get him some open lanes, he could do some work. 120 carries, 480 yards, 4 carries for 4 touchdowns. Isaiah Santanga, the third, a receiver who I think he was the leading receiver last year. 67 catches, 965 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Return Kip Lewis, the safety. Hold on, I wrote safety / linebacker. I don't know why I did that, but 76 total tackles, 38 solos, 4 sacks, 4 pass breakups, and 4 fumbles. Jaden Jackson, D lineman, who had 28 total tackles, 12 solos, and 3 sacks. Eli Bowen, defensive back, 24 total tackles, 19 solos, 3 pass breakups, 2 picks, and a pick 6. Peyton Bowen, a defensive back who had 46 total tackles, 21 solos, 7 pass breakups, and 2 picks. Cortland Guillory, a defensive back who had 41 total tackles, 28 solos, and 7 pass breakups. And Taylor Wayne, a D lineman who had 39 total tackles, 22 solos, 7 sacks, a pass breakup, a pick, and a forced fumble. They lost Deion Burks, who had 57 catches, 620 yards, and 4 touchdowns for the Colts. Lost Jaren Kanak, tight end for the Texans, 44 catches, 533 yards. Keontae Lewis, a receiver, 21 total catches, 243 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Robert Spears-Jennings, who I really liked last year, and he's already making plays in the preseason to the Steelers, unfortunately. Safety at 59 total tackles, 33 solos, 2 pass breakups, a pick, and a forced fumble. Kendall Daniels, an edge rusher for the Falcons, 53 total tackles, 28 solos, 3 pass breakups, and a fumble recovery. They lost my boy R. Mason Thomas to the Chiefs, which I hated that happened. Edge rusher at 26 total tackles, 18 solos, 6.5 sacks, a pass breakup, 2 forced fumbles, fumble recovery, and the scoop and score. That was against Tennessee. He also got hurt last year. And Marvin Jones Jr., DN on the Seahawks, with 20 total tackles, 10 solos, 2 sacks, and a pass breakup. Joe, anybody you want to talk about?
Okay, so the person I'm talking about now, does he have like in the past where he's have like threads of success? I look like, oh yeah. I don't think he's like a top pick, but he's like my sneaky pick for a potential defensive player of the year, and that's David Stone.
Okay.
The D tackle.
Okay.
You know, so I had wrote him down as a potential person too. So he's like on my list of potential SEC player of the year. But yeah, that's the guy I want to talk about for as far as returning players.
Okay, respect. So in the transfer portal, they had 16th overall recruiting class, 17 for transfers, bringing in 16. And we got to start with the guy who crossed the river, Parker Livingstone, receiver from Texas. He had 29 catches, 16 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Joining the opposite side of the river rivalry. You got name favorite Rocky Beers, tight end from Colorado State, who had 31 catches, 388 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Trell Harris, a receiver from Virginia, 59 catches, 847 yards, and 5 touchdowns. And Cole Sullivan, a linebacker from Michigan, 44 total tackles, 28 solos, 2 sacks, a pass breakup, 3 picks, 4 fumble, and a fumble recovery. Anybody in the transfer portal you want to talk about, Joe?
Don't they got another tight end too?
In the portal?
Yeah, I think they brought in another tight
end.
Maybe,
but I didn't. If they did, I didn't write it down.
That start over him. That start over.
I think Rocky gonna be the starter.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm trying to find it. They got another tight end. Oh, my tripping.
Oh, I didn't mention that they also bring back their entire O-line. I forgot to mention that.
But I mean, does that say a lot? I mean, I don't know. Their offense was trash last year.
Yeah, but I feel like the chemistry that they had, and I blame most of the offense being trash. Yeah, and I blame most of the offense being trash on Mateer coming back too soon.
Oh, Hayden Hansen.
Okay, I do remember seeing that name, but I think Robert. I mean, I said Robert. I think Rocky Beard's gonna start. That's just me.
Hey, I'm following your lead, you know. But shout out to my boy Livingstone though.
Yeah, man. I forgot he gave some lame reason why he went to Oklahoma.
Oh, for real?
I think he said something about being out the depth chart. It was something lame. People ain't buy it. But salute, man. Hopefully it works out. But some numbers for last season. They were 90th in total offense, 6th in total defense, 78th in scoring offense, 7th in scoring defense, 57th in passing, 32nd in pass defense, 112th in rushing, 3rd in rush defense, 81st in third down conversion percentage on offense, 3rd in third down conversion percentage on defense, 1st in red zone offense, and then tied 41st in red zone defense. So, like Joe said, man, offense, like we've been saying for real, the offense was not good. But again, I blame Mateer for coming back early. But we can hop right into the schedule. Where they faced a team that's been trash for a while now. The UTEP Miners. I have this as a win.
W.
Also known as Texas Southern. Shout out Glory Road. Next, at Michigan. I have this as a loss.
I do too.
Next, against New Mexico. No, we're not doing that. Next is at home against New Mexico. I have as a win.
W.
Then on the road against Georgia, I have as a loss.
L.
The Red River Rivalry, which is normally in Dallas, I have this as a loss.
L. For sure.
Then back home against Kentucky, I have this as a win.
W.
On the road against Mississippi State, I have as a win.
W.
In Norman against South Carolina, I have as a win.
Oh, okay. I got a win too. I can't wait till we get to y'all.
We close. In the Swamp against Florida, I have as a loss. I think you got this as a win, right?
So look, I think this is gonna be a really good game, though.
Me too.
I think it's gonna be a very defensive, gritty type battle. You know what I mean? It's like a game that I might just stop what I'm doing, make sure I watch the whole thing.
That's why I got it as my Swamp Tramp game.
Yeah. So and then in this game I was like LW. I went with the W. I went with them beating Florida in the Swamp.
I got this Swamp game, but I got them winning out. I got them beating Ole Miss.
Ooh.
I got them beating Texas A&M, and I got them beating Mizzou.
Same.
You got them at 7-5, 5-4, right?
I got them at 9-3.
Hold on, where else we disagree?
My only L is Michigan.
Oh, that's right. I got the L. I got them at 8-4, 6-3. You got the W with Florida. That's why it's not. That's the disagreement. Yeah, I got them at 8-4, 6-3, taking the over 7.5.
Y'all 9-3, 7-2. And you said what's the over? 6.5?
7.
Oh.
7.5. Yep. So
I
we
might
both got the
do
over
that.
7.5.
Yeah, I got them going 9-3.
Yep, I got to switch notebooks. Ran out of space in this one, but
yeah, I'm like you today.
We move on to Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, let's go.
Come on, Ole Miss, man. Because I believe this is the last team that had a new coach. So Ole Miss, as we talked about earlier, Lane Kiffin left Ole Miss to go to LSU, and they didn't go outside of Ole Miss. They went within and promoted Pete Golden to the head coach, which at the time when that was announced, Ole Miss was excited. Players was amped. They were cheering. I believe they was in a circle throwing water on them, celebrating. And they made the college football semifinals. Had a great year last year. Again, like I said in the LSU segment, the most wins in the regular season last year ever at Ole Miss with 11, going 11-1, 7-1. Did not make the SEC championship game, which dang, SEC, you crazy. 11 wins, and I can't even make the championship game. Might be some foreshadowing in my predictions later. But, again, they made the college football playoffs semifinals. They beat Tulane, who they also beat in the regular season. Then they beat Georgia, but lost to Miami Hurricanes in the semifinals. But a great year for Ole Miss nonetheless. And Pete Golden brings in offensive coordinator John David Baker, who was ECU's offensive coordinator / quarterback coach in 2024 and 2025. And I will say ECU had a really good offense, albeit different competition level, but a really good offense in the American Conference under Caden Hauser and the boys for those 2 years. And they bring in defensive coordinator Brian Brown, who was a co-DC at Ole Miss in 2024 and 2025. So he's just promoting this guy. And I think him and Pete Golden are going to be collabing on defensive schemes and stuff like that. I want to say Pete Golden is still calling plays, but I'm not sure. I want to say Pete Golden is still calling the defense, though. But they returned 10 starters, 5 on offense, 5 on defense, 3 of them being O-linemen. Joe, talk to me about Ole Miss.
They lost 2 of their starting tackles, which is big. So the O-line is something I'm worried about with them. But they got a lot of talent, though, Ole Miss. So that's one thing I will say. Trinidad James, I know you're going to mention it, but
Trinidad Chambliss. Yeah, man. This is not 2013, my boy. 2012, 2013.
Woo! But yeah, him returning was big, was huge because especially with the head coach, him being the first time head coach in a full season, having your quarterback come back and you can kind of run it back which is big. But Ole Miss, man, they got a high ceiling. They got a high ceiling. That's all I gotta say.
I 100% agree. We'll talk about the main big name starter coming back, Trinidad Chambliss. He won the court case or whatever to allow him this year coming back, which I ain't gonna lie, I thought he should have went to the draft. He'd have been easily a first round pick in my opinion, especially if Ty Simpson won the first round. Trinidad Chambliss won the first round, but that's just me. But he gets an extra year of college. He went 294, 445, 66.1% completion percentage, 3,937 yards, 22 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions, 527 yards on the ground, and 8 more touchdowns on the ground. Again, what were you doing in camp to not win this job? They returned Kwan Lacey, a running back with 360 carries, 1,567 yards, 5.1 a carry, and 24 touchdowns on the ground, which is incredibly insane. They returned Centering Perkins, a linebacker who had 81 total tackles, 41 solos, 4.5 sacks, 5 pass breakups, a pick, 3 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries. Will Eccles, a D tackle with 68 total tackles, 32 solos, 5 sacks, and 3 pass breakups. Cam Franklin, a DN who had 69 total tackles, 33 solos, 5 sacks, 5 pass breakups. Jalen Braxton, cornerback, 24 total tackles, 14 solos, 3 pass breakups, and a pick. And Antonio Kite, a cornerback with 34 total tackles, 25 solos, and 5 pass breakups. Now, before I get into the losses, there is allegedly they're going to allow Daquan Wright, who's currently on the Eagles, his eligibility to come back. I disagree just like you, Joe, but allegedly they are allowing him to come back. They're also allegedly allowing Wendell Williams, who's on the Cardinals, and Xavier Harris, who is currently not on a team. So at least he's not on an NFL roster. But those 3 guys are allegedly allowed to come back to Ole Miss. So I will name them as losses for the moment, but I will asterisk maybe because they may be back. But they for sure lost Harrison Wallace on the Cardinals, a receiver on the Cardinals with 61 catches, 934 yards, and 4 touchdowns. DeJon Striblin, a receiver on the 49ers, 55 catches, 811 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Caden Lee, a receiver on Missouri, 44 catches, 635 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Maybe lost Daquan Wright, a tight end on the Browns. I say Eagles, but Browns. 39 catches, 635 yards, and 5 touchdowns. TJ Dottery is gone for sure. A linebacker transferred to LSU. 98 total tackles, 48 solos, a sack and a half, 2 pass breakups, and 2 forced fumbles. Wendell Williams is a maybe loss. On the Cardinals, safety who had 73 total tackles, 42 solos, 9 pass breakups, 3 picks, and a fumble recovery. Xavier Harris is a maybe loss. A D tackle at 58 total tackles, 27 solos, 3 sacks, 3 pass breakups, and a pick. They did lose Prince Will, Yemeni. Oh my God, I always struggle with this. Yeman Milan, DN, who transferred to LSU, who led them in sacks. He had 45 total tackles, 18 solos, 9 sacks, pass breakup, and a pick. And they lost Kapina Gushikin, a defensive back on the Eagles, 55 total tackles, 38 solos, 5 pass breakups, a pick, and a fumble recovery. Anybody want to talk about before we get into the transfers?
The one we talked about Trinidad, but Kwan Lacey. Now, there's a lot of talk that if he never got hurt, I mean.
Yeah, they could have beat Miami.
I mean,
he did break that long run.
He
broke that long run to start the second quarter, wasn't it? To start the second?
Yeah, he got hurt on the long run. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, dang. And it was still a game. Like, it was a lot of pressure on Trinidad to make plays, and he was actually doing a good job. Like, he started to heat it up as the game went on. Mm-hmm. But Kwan Lacey being back, man, is huge. Is huge.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. And I mean,
it's
24
crazy,
touchdowns.
Man. It's crazy how, like, with the transfer portal, like, you could be, like, your best player could be going next year. Like,
it happened to Quinshawn Judkins at Ole Miss. Quinshawn Judkins was in the running for SEC Player of the Year. Dylan Sampson ultimately won it. He then transfers to Ohio State and won the national championship.
That's crazy. I get it, but dang.
Yeah, that is the transfer portal for you. They were 14th overall recruiting class, second in transfers with 29. Now, the number one I have highlighted is Blake Purchase, an edge rusher from Oregon, looking to, get, replace Prince Will and his production. He had 32 total tackles, 13 solos, 2 sacks, a pass breakup, and a pick at Oregon. Jalen Crawford, a cornerback from Auburn, who had 15 total tackles, 11 solos, 4 pass breakups, and a pick. Keaton Thomas, a linebacker who had 99 total tackles, 62 solos, a sack, 3 pass breakups, a pick, and a fumble recovery at Baylor. Jonte Cook, a receiver at Syracuse. Now take these numbers with a great assault. Syracuse quarterback situation was horrible last year. But 45 catches, 549 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Luke Farrelly, a linebacker from Cal, who had 91 total tackles, 38 solos, a sack, a pass breakup, and a pick. Any transfer you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, Jonte Cook, the second one I was looking at right there. Very explosive for that. What I saw, very explosive player. And hear what you said also. You know, he had 600 passing yards, 45 receptions with a terrible quarterback situation. You know, so with Trinidad, they gonna throw the ball. Yep. You know, they're definitely gonna throw the ball. He's gonna get opportunities. So yeah, so that's the one guy I wanted to talk about.
And that's why I said that, because his quarterback, he got a major upgraded quarterback, and Trinidad is great at expanding plays and extending them. There we go, extending plays. So definitely, he's going to have room to work with that. They were second in total offense, 48th in total defense, tied 10th in scoring offense, 37th in scoring defense, third in passing, 37th in pass defense, 44th in rushing, 69th in rush defense, 37th in third down conversion percentage on offense, 50th. Third down conversion percentage on defense, tied 56 in red zone offense, tied 60th in red zone defense. But let's get into the schedule, Joe. First game should be a banger in Nashville against Louisville. I have this as a win.
I got this as a win too.
All right, then they move on to Charlotte. I think his name Brian Albin, the former coach of Ohio. Anyway, I got this as a win.
W.
It's Tim Albin, by the way. Next, like we said, the battle of Lane leaving. I got this as a W. At home against LSU.
Yeah, it's gonna be an emotional win right here. W.
I wouldn't be surprised if Lane Kiffin get booed.
What? You be surprised?
I wouldn't.
Getting booed.
That's what I say. I wouldn't.
Oh yeah, he's definitely getting booed.
Would not be surprised. Then we go on the road in the swamp against Florida. I do have this as a win.
I got it as an L.
On the road against Vandy and back in Nashville, got this as a win.
W.
At home against Mizzou, I have this as a win.
W.
On the road in Austin, Texas, I have this as a loss.
My man. Yeah, you know I got it. Loss.
I just need the people to know. At home against Auburn, I got it as a W.
W.
At home against Georgia, I have this as a W.
That's right. Okay. I got an L here.
Yeah, that's right. You went undefeated. Georgia going undefeated.
Uh-huh.
On the road in Norman, got this as a loss.
Me too.
Then at home against Wofford, I have this as a win.
W.
Yep. And then in the Egg Bowl against Mississippi State at home, I have this as a win.
W.
So I got Ole Miss finishing 10-2, 7-2, taking the over 8.5 win total.
I got them going 8-4. 5-4.
Yeah, I'm about to say 8-4, 5-4. So you got the under 8.5.
I got them taking a W this year.
Not making the playoffs, not making nothing. Yeah. Enjoy a bowl game.
I definitely have them making it. It's crazy because I still think they're very talented, but like the SEC is a monster, man.
Yeah, I mean they could lose that game to Georgia, and I'm already at 9-3, 6-3 right there. You're not making the playoffs at Ole Miss at 9-3. So I can see that. I don't see the Florida game. But, I mean, it is a swamp, so crazy things happen in the swamp.
I know. You know I know personally.
Yeah. So, but we'll move on to my boys.
Let's go.
South Carolina. Well, I was very disappointed in South Carolina last year. Not only was the offense very disappointing, couldn't run the ball to save our lives, but every time, no matter, it could have been 30-30, 3rd-2, 3rd-15. If you was playing against South Carolina, you was converting on 3rd down. Don't matter what it was. I remember the Mizzou game. Could not get a stop on 3rd down to save our lives. It was just terrible. Then LSU, God, the offense lost us that game because we couldn't move the ball. LSU couldn't move the ball either, but we couldn't put up nothing. We just looked bad. Then blowing 30-3 against Texas A&M on the road. No way you're supposed to lose that game. But South Carolina finds a way to lose it. Alabama, we lose that game late. Just a bad year for South Carolina. After we win 9 straight 2 years ago. We finished with 9-3. We found a way to blow the LSU game, but Lenore Sellers gets hurt in that game. So that was like not a silver lining, but like that explained it. was at one point that season 2 years ago, we're in the run-ins for possibly making the playoff, and we went from possibly making the playoff to going 4-8, 1-7. But with that comes change, and South Carolina brings in a new offensive coordinator, Kendall Briles, who was TCU's assistant associate head coach, offensive coordinator, and quarterback coach from 2023 to 2025. Now, they had good offenses at TCU. Josh Hoover did have some turnovers, throwing picks, but he also put up big numbers throwing the football. And I'm hoping that he can refine Lenore Sellers as a passer, because Lenore Sellers is a great athlete, will run through you. As a passer, I'm not 100% sold on Lenore Sellers.
Okay.
So if he can get Lenore Sellers to be a better passer, I'm all in. But we need Beamer. I think Beamer. I don't think personally Beamer's on a hot seat, but I think people have Beamer personally on the hot seat. Yeah, because of how bad last year went, and now people might be thinking that the 9-3 year was a fluke, which I kind of thought that. Not gonna lie,
you did?
Yeah, I kind of did. But yeah. Talk to me about South Carolina, Joe.
All right. So the problem with y'all last year, your offense was horrible. Y'all went from average to probably one of the worst offenses in the nation.
You couldn't run the ball.
Yeah, and I feel like Lenore was like out there by himself, bro.
Norris.
Yeah, Norris. Yup. But y'all do have like you said, new OC from TCU, which is good. Your D line is your strength, in my opinion. But in the O line was a disaster too. Your offensive line. So, and you have a whole new offensive line this year.
We got 2 starters returning, but I don't, we'll see how that works.
We'll see. So, yeah, man. But like last year, like I remember a lot of people saying that y'all might have the biggest fall, meaning like based on expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all did. Y'all did. So, but I have y'all being better this year, though. I will say that to you.
We'll get into that. But we returned 10 starters, 5 on offense, 5 on defense. So hopefully we retain some chemistry. The big starter return is obviously, like we've been saying, Lenore Sellers, the quarterback who had went 178 of 293, 60.8% completion percentage, 2,437 yards, 13 touchdowns to 8 picks, 270 yards on the ground, and 5 touchdowns on the ground as well. Nick Harbor. Let me talk about Nick Harbor for a second, because I'm tired of the potential of Nick Harbor. I want to see Nick Harbor explode on the scene. I'm done with Nick Harbor should be this. Prove it to me why people think that you're going to be like that. This is your last year, to be honest, to prove it. You got to move on after this. He led us in receiving with 600 yards. Like, bro, this is, you're supposed to be better than this. He had 30 catches, 618 yards, and 6 touchdowns. I need you to be better than that. I need anywhere from 8 to a stat.
You spoke highly of him last year, right?
He was supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I'm tired of the potential of Nick Harbor. I want to see Nick Harbor at this point. So, I mean, he's fast. It's just, you got to put up or shut up. Brady Hunt, a tight end who had 21 catches, 168 yards. They return potentially SEC Player of the Year. Dylan Stewart, edge rusher, 53 total tackles. 33 total tackles, 19 solos, 4.5 sacks, 2 pass breakups, 3 forced fumbles. Fred Johnson, linebacker who had 61 total tackles, 37 solos, a sack, 3 pass breakups, an interception, and a fumble recovery. Justin Okonkwo, a linebacker who had 63 total tackles, 39 solos, a pass breakup, and a pick. Peyton Williams, defensive back who had 50 total tackles, 39 solos, a sack, 2 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, and a forced fumble. And Judge Collier, a cornerback who had 28 total tackles, 25 solos, and a pass breakup. Now, South Carolina does have a guy who may be returning after being in the NFL. So there's a maybe, and I don't like it, Joe. I promise you I don't. But DQ Smith may be back. So I promise you I don't like it. But we lost Russell Faison, a running back. Russell Faison, running back who had 96 carries, 470 yards, 4.9 a carry, and 3 touchdowns. Vendrevius Jacobs, who went to the U, a receiver who had 32 catches, 548 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Again, maybe DQ Smith, a safety who had 64 total tackles, 47 solos, a pass breakup, and a pick. We lost Jalen Kilgore, safety on the Bills, who had 54 total tackles, 32 solos, 10 pass breakups, 2 picks, and 2 forced fumbles. 2 fumble recoveries, excuse me. Brandon Cisse, who I feel like had a bad year at South Carolina, can't lie. Cornerback, who is on the Packers, 27 total tackles, 19 solos, 5 pass breakups, a pick, and a forced fumble. Let me change that. He had an inconsistent year. Nick Barrett, D tackle, who went to the Chargers, 42 total tackles, 27 solos, 2 sacks, a pass breakup, a fumble recovery, and a scuba score. Brian Thomas Jr., funny enough, on the Jaguars, DN, who had 41 tackles, 25 solos, 7 sacks, a pass breakup, and 3 forced fumbles. And Monkel Goodwin, a D lineman who had 31 total tackles, 23 solos, a pass breakup, and 2 forced fumbles. Anybody you want to talk about? I already know one of them, Joe. Go ahead and do it.
You do?
Dylan Stewart. Go ahead, talk about him.
Oh no, I'm really gonna talk about. Dennis Stewart is definitely a guy that I have down for a player of the year. He was a player of the year. He clearly our best. He was a player. I want to ask you about Jaden Sellers.
Lenore Sellers' brother. I don't know, man. I don't know what to think about Jaden Sellers, to be honest. Like, I think he's cool. I think he's physical, like his brother. I don't know if I necessarily. I think he got speed on him, but I don't know if he's the fastest. We got a guy who's probably faster than him coming in the transfer portal, and Nick Harbor, I think, is the fastest guy on the team. But I think he's solid. I think he's physical, like I said. I think if he can get open, I don't know about rotation. I don't know if he crack. I'm pretty sure he's going to crack rotation, but I don't got too much thought. I really don't have too much high praise for this receiver core, period, if we're being honest. But I know he's very physical.
Okay. Yeah, man. So,
all right, let's get into these transfers. So, 15th overall recruiting class, 19th in transfers with 25. And at the top, I got Nitro Tuggle, receiver from Purdue. I think he'll help this receiver core a lot. I'm again not super high on it, but I do think Nitro Tuggle will help. He had 34 catches, 500 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And I did not like their quarterback last year. I think it was Ryan Brown at Purdue. Quay Shaheed Scott, cornerback from Kentucky, 39 total tackles, 26 solos, 2 pass breakers, and a pick. I think he should help bolster the secondary and relief of Brandon Cisse and help Judge Collier on the other side. Caleb Herring, an edge from Tennessee, who had 14 total tackles, 8 solos, 4 sacks, will have probably less attention because, Dylan Stewart's on the other side if Caleb Herring's going to start. So that should help. DJ Black, kind of unproven, but he is 6'2", a receiver from UCF with 22 catches, 273 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Christian Clark, a running back from Texas, which I ain't going to lie, I didn't even remember him getting this many carries, but he had 55 carries, 236 yards, 4.3 carries, and 2 touchdowns. So hopefully he can help improve this run game with Lenore Sellers, and hopefully this O-line could help create some holes for him to run through. Any transfers you want to talk about, Joe?
Yeah, one transfer I want to talk about is your 5-star offensive tackle, Jacarius Peak from North Carolina State. So buffing the offensive line is always the key because last year, I think about last year, it was terrible. It was horrendous. So I'm rooting for y'all, Carl, because I want to see you happy, man.
Appreciate that. I really do.
I know you got MSU in basketball. We know you're not going to have MSU in football. So
we ain't coming for all that.
No, I'm not taking a shot. I'm saying like they're not a football program.
We're not that whole. My time at MSU was the golden age. We was both football and basketball.
In the golden age, man. How long was the golden age?
Hey, man, we won the Rose Bowl when I was there. We won the Cotton Bowl when I was there. Shoot,
when
2021. Hey, bro. It was about, I think the Rose Bowl was 2014, 2015. The Cotton Bowl, I think, was 2016. We won the Cotton Bowl in 2021, though.
Okay, shout out to y'all.
We beat Kenny Pickett ain't play, but we played Pitt.
You said what?
Kenny Pickett ain't play, but we play Pitt.
But that's a bowl game. You know what I mean? That's different.
2016 is when we got spanked by Bama in the playoffs. 38.
But you got that though on the 14 deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
So did.
But I'm rooting for y'all though. I want to see y'all do well.
Appreciate it. All right, let's get into some numbers. These are atrocious. 107th in total offense, 52nd in total defense, 102nd in scoring offense, 45th in scoring defense, 65th in passing, 59th in pass defense, 117th in rushing, 49th in rush defense, 125th in third down completion percentage on offense, This was a little better than I thought. 68th and third down percentage conversion on defense. Thought we might be in the triple digits. 70th in red zone offense, 22nd in red zone defense, and 118th in first downs. I threw that in there to show how bad this offense was. That we were 118th in first downs. That is bad. But let's get into the schedule. Where at first we will play Kent State. I have this as a win.
I got it as a loss.
Yeah, nice try.
W.
Nice try. Then we go on to play Towson at home. I got this as a win.
Townsend. W.
First SEC game, we take on Mississippi State. I got this as a win.
W.
Then we're going to Tuscaloosa to take on Bama. Got this as a loss.
Ew.
Then we play Kentucky at home, which could be a trap game, but I got this as a win.
Win.
Then again, we're going to disagree. And like I said in the Florida segment, this might be a fandom pick because I can't see it. I don't want to see us losing to Florida 3 times straight. But in the swamp, we take on Florida where I have a win.
L.
Respect. And then we move on to at home against Tennessee, where I have as a loss.
I got this as a win.
Respect. I definitely respect that. I wanted to do it, but I didn't. Then we take on Oklahoma in Norman. Because we're in Norman, I have this as a loss.
I got this as a loss.
Then we take on Texas A&M at the crib. Revenge is incoming. I have this as a win.
I got this as a loss.
We lost a 33 lead, man. We better not lose again to these boys. We move on to at Arkansas, where I have this as a win.
W.
Then at home against Georgia, unfortunately, I have this as a loss.
Same.
And then in the Battle of the Palmetto, on the road against Clemson, where last time we played Clemson on the road, we won. I have this as a win.
I got this as a loss. I'm sorry.
That was losing to the Ops. That's crazy. But I got South Carolina going 8-4, 5-4, taking the over 6.5.
6-6. 4-5 in the conference.
Joe got us being mid.
But y'all get a bowl game though.
Oh, yeah, congrats. You won 6 games and got a bowl game.
You didn't go in last year.
You're right. You should have.
No,
you're right though.
Take it back.
Well, I got a fandom pick in there, so it is what it is. But we'll move on to the Tennessee Volunteers, which last year went 8-4, 4-4. Yeah, I wrote 5-4 by accident. Went 8-4, 4-4. Now this is another team who has a quarterback battle brewing. They have the 5-star freshman Brandon Faison, who I believe is the favorite to win this quarterback battle, going against redshirt freshman George McIntyre. And they threw in there Ryan Staub. I put maybe. I don't think Ryan Staub really has a chance in this quarterback battle, to be 100% honest with you. But he's in the mix. But I want to talk about this real quick. And I know I don't really talk about the new coaching hires that early unless it's a new head coach. Doing my research, I didn't know Tennessee got my boy. Jim Knowles is now the defensive coordinator of Tennessee. Now, if you remember, Jim Knowles was the defensive coordinator of Ohio State when they won the national championship. Jim Knowles, in my opinion, is the best DC in the country. Now, I know some people going to say Matt Patricia, and hey, tomato. But Jim Knowles has been doing it way longer in this level than Matt Patricia. Now, Matt Patricia is really good at it.
State, was he with Penn State too?
He was with Penn State last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was his long year with Penn State.
Okay.
Yeah, Jim Knowles was also the DC of Oklahoma State when they made the Big 12 championship in 2021, and they lost to Baylor. So Jim Knowles, man, defensive guru in my opinion, best to do it so far. But Tennessee's last year again, I can't stress this enough. No good win last year. If you can find me one, I got you with $1. But I know you can't, so don't even look. And it was nothing more evident than them losing the bowl game against Illinois in the Music City Bowl, 30-28. Which I will say they put up a really good fight in that bowl game. But Illinois pulled off the last-minute drive to kick the game-winning field goal to win it in Tennessee. By the way, the game is. I want to say the game was in Nashville, but yeah, no good wins last year. Joe, talk to me about Tennessee.
Yeah, so good offense, like good Good offense, but defense was bad. Last year,
Mm-hmm.
like we talked about, they fired their defensive coordinator, got a
Mm-hmm.
new one, and like you said, arguably kind of like the Kentucky hire, one of the top coordinators in the nation, right? Um, QB is a question mark. I know we're going to get to that,
Mm-hmm.
but he has a talent around him. But if the defense can, you know, raise his level as I think it could, Tennessee could be a good team.
Yep. And
You know,
Tennessee also returned the second most starters in the SEC. If you remember, Georgia is tied with Oklahoma for the most. So I guess technically third most, if you know, because some
Mhm.
you want, but I'm gonna just say second most with 13 starters. They bring back the entire O line. Now,
Mm.
unfortunately, a big starter for Tennessee is now out for the year, had an injury in camp, and that is Idris Farouk, the safety. He is out for the year with an injury.
Jeez,
I want to say they said a knee
I
injury.
didn't know that.
It literally happened either this morning or yesterday. It's like super recent. But I want to say it happened yesterday. But yeah, he's out for the year, which is a big loss for Tennessee. But a big win in not leaving in the portal is Deshaun Bishop.
Mm-hmm.
Great returnee there, running back, 182 carries, 1,076 yards, 5.9 carry, 16 touchdowns. That was good there. Mike Matthews, I feel like he's going to
Uh-huh.
step up in a bigger role. You know, Chris Brazil is now in the NFL, which I was so happy Chris Brazil went to a guy that could throw him the football. I was excited for him. Mike Matthews had 53 catches,
And
813 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Braylon Staley, another guy who had 800 plus receiving yards. He had 68 catches, 837 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Now, defensively, they returned Edwin Spillman. I don't know if I said this, but they returned the entire O line as well.
yeah, you did.
Okay. They returned Edwin Spillman, a linebacker with 81 total tackles, 33 solos, 2.5 sacks, 2 pass breakups, and a pick. Jeremiah Thielander, linebacker with 80 total tackles, 28 solos, a sack, and interception. Again, Idris Farouk, but he's out for the year. They returned Arion Carter, a linebacker with 76 total tackles, 28 solos, a sack and a half, a pass break with forced fumble and a fumble recovery. And Ty Redman, a defensive back with 43 total tackles, 25 solos, 11 pass breakups, and 3 picks. So, anything you want to talk about before we get into the losses?
Yeah, I know McIntyre, the quarterback. He's a returning player also.
George
But
McIntyre, he's a
yeah,
redshirt freshman.
yeah, but he didn't obviously, like you said, Rasher, he didn't play. But uh, Mike Matthews, I'm seeing a lot of like breakout season type
Mm-hmm.
player. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like you say, he's stepping into a bigger role, and you got Braylon Staley also with him too. So I'm gonna keep an eye on that. The Mike Matthews and having Deshaun Bishop come back was a big deal. But like I said, the question mark is the quarterback for Tennessee. Kind of remind me of Kentucky. Like that's it. That's the question mark.
For sure. And again, I think he's gonna be 5-star freshman Brandon Faison. I've actually heard a lot about him and Faison Brandon, excuse me. I've flipped his name. But I've heard some good things about him. Like, I mean, he's a freshman, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't really talk about freshmen because I want to see you prove it on the field at the collegiate level. But I've heard really good things about him, about his ability to throw in the football. So if I had to choose, I think that's who they'll rock with.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I think Mike Matthews is that's definitely destined to have that Chris Brazil path of a breakout season. So that's why I was like him stepping into that bigger role. I think that's real big for him.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
But let's get into some losses. They lose Joey Aguilar, which again, some people call this the first ever college football trade. Because if you remember, Joey
Oh
Aguilar from UCLA went to Tennessee, and Nico Imalava went from
yeah.
Tennessee to UCLA. And that's why the person in my comment section who wanted to say, "Oh, UCLA was a bad team, and that's why Nico was bad." You mean the situation he asked for? Literally forced his way to UCLA. So I'm not trying to hear it. But Joey Aguilar went 272 of 404, 67.3% completion percentage, 3,565 yards, 24 touchdowns to 10 interceptions on the Jags. Lost Chris Brazil, who I think he got hurt too, unfortunately. 62 catches, 1,017 yards, 9 touchdowns on the Panthers. Miles Klitzselman, a tight end who had 26 catches, 253 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Colton Hood on the Giants, a cornerback who had 50 total tackles, 34 solos, 8 pass breakups, a pick six, forced fumble recovery, and Scuba score touchdown. So both a Scuba score and a pick six touchdown last year. Joshua Josephs on the Commanders,
Oh yeah.
who had 33 total tackles, 17 solos, 4 sacks, 2 pass breakups, 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and a Scuba score. Tyree West, D tackle on the Lions, 23 total tackles, 12 solos, 4 sacks, a pass breakup, and a forced fumble. Jalen McMurray on the Titans, a cornerback who had 56 total tackles, 32 solos, 2 sacks, and 5 pass breakups. Jamal McCoy, who did not play last year but is currently on the Raiders. Bryson Eason, D lineman on the 49ers, for 31 total tackles, 8 solos, 3 pass breakups, and a fumble recovery. And Dominic Bailey, D lineman on the Texans, who had 27 total tackles, 13 solos, 5.5 sacks, and a forced fumble. Anything you want to talk about before we get into the transfers?
No, let's get to the transfers. Oh.
Yes, sir. They had the 11th overall recruiting class, 26 in transfers with 21. At the top of my list, I have Quay Moss, safety from K-State, who had 41 total tackles, 31 solos, a sack, a pass breakup, 2 picks, and a forced fumble. Kayan Lee, a cornerback from Auburn, who had 31 total tackles, 25 solos, 4 pass breakups, and a pick. Unfortunately, I think TJ Metcalf is a dog. Out of Michigan, defensive back who had 58 total tackles, 37 solos, 4 pass breakups, a pick, and a fumble recovery. Thank you for leaving Michigan for me, big dog. And Ian Durante, a receiver out of Idaho, had 46 catches, 521 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Any transfers you want to highlight?
Yeah, Kayan Lee. I'm seeing that that he's also a player that's like a breakout season. Also,
yeah, I like Kayan Lee.
The cornerback. So that's actually good because like we've been talking about their defense. Tennessee defense has been a problem because they got weapons on offense, and they just get the defense and see what the quarterback can do. Tennessee, like I said, just like I think Tennessee got some potential, but like you said, they got to prove it to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For sure. Now some numbers. They were 7th in total offense, 91st in total defense, 6th in scoring offense, tied 91st in scoring defense, 6th in passing, 112th in pass defense, 51st in rushing, 73rd in rush defense, tied 8th in third down conversion percentage on offense, but tied 85th on third down conversion percentage on defense, 72nd in red zone offense, and tied 118th in red zone defense. Without further ado, you ready to get in the schedule? Where we have the Furman Paladins. I have this as a win.
I got a W.
Then they take on Georgia Tech at Georgia Tech. I can't lie. I did have this marked as an L in the Georgia Tech segment for them. I'm kind of having a change of heart, but I don't change results. So I have this as an L.
Dang, I got W.
All right, we move on to Kennesaw State. I have this as a win.
W.
Texas at home. I have this as a loss.
Come on now.
Auburn. Oh, I need the people to hear it.
Oh, L.
Auburn. I have this as a W.
W.
At Arkansas, I have this as a W.
W.
Bama at home, I have this as a L.
W.
At South Carolina, I have this as a W.
L. No, I got it as a W. Yeah.
Kentucky.
So I'm just fine. I got it as a L.
Okay, so you got us beating them. Oh, that's right. You did say that. You did say that. Yeah. Kentucky at home, I have this as a W.
W.
At Texas A&M, I have this as a L.
L.
At home against LSU, I have this as a L.
L.
And at Vanderbilt, I have this as a W.
W.
All right. With that being said, I got Tennessee at 7-5, 5-4, taking the under 7.5 by the hook.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I got them 8-4 and 5-4. And you said that over and under
Georgia Tech. It's 7.5, which I ain't gonna lie, I can see it. Again, if I didn't do the Georgia Tech segment already, I might have changed this, but I don't change results. So I got the under in my
shout out to Georgia Tech, the swing game.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Georgia Tech, period, man. Shout out Coach Keith. But we'll move on to Texas. Now, normally
Texas or Texas A&M?
I did Texas first.
Okay.
Because Texas A&M got A&M, and Texas stops at Texas. So.
Oh, we almost at the finish now. We rolling through this thing.
I know. But normally I let my guests take over when we do their team. But I've been informed by my guests just keep it pushing how I've been going. So I will be still taking the lead, and we will be starting to talk about Texas. But we will talk about how they have changed their defensive coordinator to Will Muschamp, former Florida coach, might I add. 2024-2025 Georgia defensive analyst now will be the DC for the Texas Longhorns. They bring back 12 starters, and I will say the season started off slow, but it finished really well. Just one. I feel like one game away from being a playoff team. They finished 9-3, 6-2. Hey, but y'all did complete the hit for your boy. you did beat Michigan in the Citrus Bowl, so you took a bowl game away from them. So I do appreciate that for your for your boy. Now I get it. I get it. It's not what you wanted, but you can take solace in the fact that you helped the borough out. They beat them 41-27 in the Citrus Bowl. I think y'all were a good team. I think again, Arch just started off super slow, but he had a ton of hype, and with that hype came a ton of pressure. And I don't want to say he folded, but I think it was just a ton. It was a lot, and again, I'm stalling because I don't know how I want to word this, but I don't want to say he folded. But there was also rumors that he had an injury in his throwing shoulder, and his throwing mechanics was like bad, but I ain't want to hear it either. But I feel like as the season got better, he got more comfortable.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, and then he finally. I feel like also the game might have slowed down for him. Maybe that's what I think I want to say. I want to say the game was probably too fast because you start off the gate, you playing a Matt Patricia defense in Ohio State. You got so much NFL talent. The game seems so fast. And I think that I just spit, but I think the game slowed down for him. And while I think it was a bad game to start, I think it was a good thing he had that game because it probably eased him into the college football game a little bit faster.
I agree.
But yeah, talk to me about Texas, Joe.
Carl, this is the year, man. When I say this is the year, that's what I mean. This is a championship or bust year for Texas.
Ooh.
I think so. With all the build-up, you like bringing in Arch Manning and all that stuff, and having him go through his year the way he ended last year. Finding the defensive coordinator, bringing in Georgia's guy in. Bringing in. We're gonna talk about some of the transfers, but some of the pieces we brought in, I feel like, and then we keep getting close outside of last year. But years before that, we kept getting close, but we couldn't get that.
Semifinals 3 years ago.
We got to break through. This got to be the year we break through.
That was semifinals for 2 straight years. I think the Ohio State game was a semifinal game.
We lost at Ohio State game? No, we lost to Arizona State, and we lost to we beat Arizona.
Oh, y'all beat Arizona State. Y'all lost to Ohio State. Remember, Jack Sawyer had that strip sack fumble at the end.
Oh my gosh!
And then y'all lost to Washington the year before that.
Washington.
When Quinn Ewers missed that goal line pass at the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's 2 straight semifinals.
Yes, sir. And then Arch Manning came in and we missed the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But so I feel like this is like, especially for our head coach, this is the year. Like we gotta get past. We gotta at least get to the national championship game. That's how I feel like this year.
Respect. I'll say that, and I'm not gonna lie, Joe. I heard somebody ask when is Steve Sarkisian gonna be in the hot seat for not winning the Natty, and I'm like, bro, what? Do y'all remember where Texas was at before Sarkisian came? Texas wasn't even thought of being a playoff team, let alone a good team. Y'all were solid, but I remember when people got hype over Sam Ehlinger at Texas, or I can't. What was it? I can't remember the black quarterback name, bro. People, I'm gonna have to Google it when I let you talk, but I think it's Quentin something. I can't remember, but yeah, Texas was nowhere near these heights before Steve Sarkisian. And I know I make my jokes about Sarkisian with his whole thing in the past. I don't want to say, but in reality, Sarkisian has been the shot in the arm that Texas has needed to become a top tier program again.
It's just that, like, he's also underachieving with this roster.
But like, is he though?
I mean, I think so. Like before, you think it's a quarterback play?
I think last year for sure. If Quinn Ewers plays well against Florida, y'all make the playoffs.
True. I'm with you on that.
And
you said Quinn Ewers, you mean Arch Manning?
Oh, Arch Manning. That's it, Quinn. My fault. I mean Arch Manning.
No, I'm with you. It's a Florida game. Even Ohio State, I feel like we should have won that. We could have won.
Yeah, y'all could have won that game. He was horrible.
He was, Ohio State. I don't know what the heck is wrong with him.
But it's not Shane Boucher. Oh, it was Tyrone Swoops. That's what I was thinking about.
Tyrone Shoot. You said Tyrone who?
Tyrone Swoops.
Oh, Tyrone. Okay.
People was kind of hype over him, but from what I remember,
this all year, man. This is a make or break year for us, man. But I get why people want to put him in a hot seat, though. You know what I mean? But like you said, he changed the whole program, all that stuff. I get it. It's like you feel like, especially the Quinn Ewing years, you're like, dog, we it's no way. Like, bro, the
You
Arizona
lost to
State
the
game, bro, we almost lost to Arizona State.
Cam Scatterball almost pulled some
He was
BS
going
off.
crazy.
Like he just took over. Like that's
He
not
single
nothing.
handedly.
That's nothing Sarkisian can do. He went,
He did.
man.
He
And
did.
I mean, you lost one semifinal game to Ohio State, who quite easily had the best roster in the country. Which I still don't understand why they lost to Michigan that year. And you lost another semifinal game though. I mean, Washington, which I mean, it was
Another good.
I feel like you should have.
offensive game.
I feel like that if you want to get anybody for a playoff game that they lost, I feel like, okay, cool. If you want to scrutinize Sarkisian for not getting that one, that's fine. I would have loved to see y'all play Michigan in the national championship. I feel like y'all could have beat them.
Yeah, I mean, last time we played Michigan, you saw what we did to him.
Yes, sir. Salute. But yeah, I don't think Sarkisian should be in the hot seat.
I'm with you on that. But Arch Manning, he gotta do something. All this hype,
For sure.
which I think, like you said, this is so down. He looked really good against Texas A&M. Really good.
Which is a really good defense.
Yup. And they were hot, even though they lost the game before that. But they were hot.
Nah, Texas A&M, y'all were the only team to beat Texas A&M in the regular season.
It's right. So we beat them and then they lost.
Miami. Yeah, but Miami only put up 10 points.
Yeah, man, Arch Manning looked really good. He looked comfortable, poised, in control.
Yeah, now and I know somebody gonna be in the comments. Oh, Miami missed 2 field goals. Okay, y'all would have put up 16. The points that were made at Texas A&M was a good defense. But some starters, again, they returned 12, 6 on offense, with 3 of them being O-linemen and 6 on defense. Arch Manning, who we've been talking about, 248 of 404, 61.4% completion percentage, 3,163 yards, 26 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, 399 rushing yards to add on with 10 touchdowns. Excuse me. Ryan Wingo at receiver, 54 catches, 834 yards and 7 touchdowns, and Emmett Mosley the fifth, another receiver, 28 catches, 408 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Now, this is also another potential Big 12 Player of the Year candidate. Colin Simmons, edge rusher, 43 total tackles, 23 solos, 12 sacks, 2 pass breakups, 3 fumbles, and a fumble recovery.
Let's go.
Grayson Littleton, defensive back, 46 total tackles, 32 solos, 6 pass breakups, 2 picks, and 2 forced fumbles. Jelani McDonald, defensive back, 80 total tackles, 49 solos, 3 pass breakups, 3 picks, and a fumble recovery. Alex January, a D lineman who had 19 total tackles, 9 solos, a sack and a half, a pass breakup, and a fumble recovery. And Hero Canoe, D lineman who had 31 total tackles, 9 solos, 2 sacks, and a pass breakup. And lastly, Murad Watson, a D lineman who had 23 total tackles, 6 solos, and a sack and a half. Now, some losses. Y'all had some losses. Quintravion Wisener, running back to Florida State, 131 carries, 597 yards, 4.6 a carry, and 3 touchdowns. DeAndre Moore, that was a big loss in my opinion. Receiver to Colorado, 38 catches, 532 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Parker Livingston, a receiver to Oklahoma, 29 catches, 516 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Anthony Hill Jr. is a big loss at linebacker, but it's to the league. To the Cowboys. No, not to the Cowboys. I don't know why I keep saying that. Thinking that in my head. He went to the Titans. 70 total tackles, 38 solos, 4 sacks, a pass breakup, 2 picks, 3 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. Michael Taft, another big loss in my opinion. Safety to the Dolphins, 70 total tackles, 38 solos, a sack, a pass breakup, and 2 picks. Malik Muhammad, a lockdown corner in my opinion, to the Bears, 30 total tackles, 23 solos, a sack, 4 pass breakups, 4. Why did I write that twice? And 2 interceptions. This must have been at 5:50 in the morning. And they lost Trey Moore. I can't lie. Trey Moore was very disappointing to me in his Texas career. Really, really good at UTSA. Mid at Texas. He used the edge rusher at 34 total tackles, 21 solos, 3 sacks, 3 pass breakups, and a fumble recovery. Hopefully he changes that because I'm rooting for him in the NFL on the Dolphins. And Liana Lefou, a linebacker, 68 total tackles, 26 solos, a sack, 3 pass breakups, and a fumble recovery, transfer to Colorado. Anybody want to talk about before we move on to the transfers?
I mean, my boy Arch Manning is still here. He ain't going nowhere. Colin Simmons. Yes, sir. Like you said, first team All-American, preseason AP, both got him there. But he's very explosive. And you said he had, 12 sacks, you said?
Yes, sir.
Insane. So shout out to him. Ryan Wingo, I think his role will definitely be expanded this year. I think he will have more opportunities this year. Very another explosive guy.
I don't know if I agree with that.
You don't? Okay.
Because of the transfer.
Oh, my bad. You know, hey, my bad. You're right. I'm tripping. I'm tripping. I'm tripping. So, like I said, there's a lot riding on this year, man. A lot riding on this year. This is a do or die year for Texas, man.
For sure. And like you said, championship or bust, and they went out and got some pieces.
Let's
First
go.
recruiting class. So the best recruiting class in the country in 2026.
Let's
So
go.
off of that. Third in transfers with 22. And we're going to talk about the biggest transfer, and that is Cam Coleman, receiver from Auburn. Man can go up and get it. He's explosive. You can't really press him. He's good off the line. What can't Cam Coleman do? He had 56 catches, 708 yards, and 5 touchdowns last year at Auburn with very, very questionable quarterback play. Then you bring in Hollywood Smothers, which I can't lie, that's a great pickup. Running back from NC State, 160 carries, 939 yards, 5.9 carries, and 6 touchdowns. I can see why your pieces left because you bringing in Hollywood Smothers. They like, I gotta go somewhere else to get some burn. Then, as a backup, in my opinion, you bring in Raleek Brown from Arizona State, which I'm not gonna lie, I like Raleek Brown show flashes to me, but I had some quarrels a little bit with Raleek Brown at Arizona State. He's shifty though. 186 carries, 1,141 yards, 6.1 a carry, and 4 touchdowns at Arizona State. Rasheed Biles, I thought this was an amazing pickup at linebacker. I loved him and Kyle Louis at Pitt. He had 100 tackles, 39 solos, 4.5 sacks, 4 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. And Bo Masco, a cornerback from Rutgers, who had 48 total tackles, 29 solos, 4 pass breakups, a pick, and 2 forced fumbles, looking to step up and replace Malik Muhammad. Any transfers you want to highlight?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, the 2 running backs you just mentioned, they were 2 of the top running backs in the transfer portal, and we got both. We got both of them. It was like we don't get one of y'all. We don't get both of y'all over here. You know,
I don't know the rankings, but I would believe so. I feel like Bryson Washington might have been up there too, and maybe Chris Johnson Jr.
Yeah, I'm not saying the top 2, but 2 of the top. And Cam Coleman, big pickup. And now you're talking about somebody who's going to have I'm not going to say his role is going to expand, but like you said, his situation is totally different now. You know, he actually has a quarterback playing with him now. And they're saying, like, correct me if I'm wrong, is he like one of the best players, period, in college?
Yes, bro. That's what I was saying when they were talking about Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith. I'm like, oh, Cam Coleman is up there with them. Like, well, not necessarily. I think Jeremiah Smith is in the league of his own, but he's up there with Ryan Williams for sure.
Woo! That's exciting, Carl. That's exciting. And like you said, Hollywood Smothers and Raleek Brown. Let's get it. What else? We did bring up another offensive tackle from Wake Forest. I'm not sure you mentioned him. Melvin Siani. They said, they called him an elite pass protector who started 13 games. Right? So, which is good. And then on the defense, Rasheed Biles, like you said, linebacker.
Big pickup.
Yeah, you know, did you mention hold on. Well, I'm not saying he's a big pickup. What about Ian Jeffrey? Jeffrey? Do you know what that is?
I didn't mention him, but
do you know what that is from Arkansas?
No.
Okay, it's not a big body that we got. But yeah, man, I'm excited about this year, man. I'm excited. I love the Cam Coleman addition, though. That right there. I'm hearing so much good stuff about him, man. It's ridiculous.
He's like that. He's really like that, bro.
It's kind of like when no, I'm not gonna compare it to that. It's probably even better than that.
What was you about to say?
When was it Florida State picked up Keon Coleman?
Oh, it's better.
Yeah,
and I love me some Keon Coleman, but it's better.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. Archman got him a dog.
Hollywood Smothers was the 3rd ranked running back in the transfer portal, and Raleek Brown was the 6th ranked.
6, okay. 2 top 10, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but you got the 2nd and 6th. I like that.
And Cam Coleman was ranked the best receiver, the only 5-star receiver in the portal.
Let's go.
Yeah, so y'all went crazy, bro. Went crazy. But some numbers for last year: 68th in total offense, 40th in total defense, 41st in scoring offense, 28th in scoring defense, 42nd in passing, 97th in pass defense, 90th in rushing, 14th in run defense, 73rd in third down percentage conversion on offense, 21st in third down conversion percentage on defense, tied 61st in red zone offense, 46th in red zone defense. Let's hop into the schedule. Joe, I have y'all winning every game except for LSU.
Respect. I got us winning every game except the bye week. I said, no, ain't no bye week. I got us going 12-0.
College got two of them things. I think I don't know. They might have changed it, but college got bye weeks.
But here's the thing, though. Our schedule is tough.
Yeah, I mean, you got LSU, you got Ole Miss, you got Oklahoma, obviously rivalry. You got Texas A&M, obviously a rivalry. Ohio State for sure. I'm thinking conference. Yeah. You got the worst non-con game for sure.
Yeah,
I think Ohio State is the worst non-con than Clemson.
Oklahoma, like you said.
And when I say worst, I don't mean in terms of bad. I mean as like the toughest opponent.
I got you. Yeah, so I feel like the schedule is pretty tough at Texas A&M at the end of the season. You know, LSU, but I got it going 12-0. 12-0.
Ooh, so you got Georgia, Texas in the SEC championship game.
Who's that? Who? Yeah,
Georgia, Texas. See, you can't predict mine yet.
Yeah.
But hey, salute. We both got the over 9.5 win total. Over 9.5.
You can't predict Georgia, huh?
You can't. But we'll move on as you try to the Texas A&M Aggies, which last year they went 11-1, 7-1. Now a lot of them said it was because the schedule was kind of on the softer side in the SEC, and I mean a lot of them would say they were right because they lost to Texas in the final game of the year, which cost them a chance at the SEC championship game. Which, to be honest, they weren't going to beat Georgia in my opinion. And would they have played Georgia? No, I think about it. Yeah, they would have to because Georgia had the tiebreaker over Ole Miss. No, they might have had to play Bama. That would have got interesting because Bama beat Georgia.
Who about Ole Miss though?
They didn't play Ole Miss, and Ole Miss lost to Georgia, so they'd have been automatically out.
Oh,
and Bama had to lost the tiebreaker. It might have been Bama versus Texas A&M. So Kalen DeBoer might have. I don't know. I don't have a definitive winner in that game because Bama can't run the ball and Texas A&M has a really good defense and they had a really good pass rush and you would allow them to pin their air back and go get you. So that'd have been a tough game to call. But that's coulda, shoulda, woulda business. They didn't take care of business and it cost them an SEC title shot. Then they play in the college football playoffs first round and they lose 10-3 at home in Kyle Field to the Hurricanes. Again, only scoring 3 points. But with that being said, they went and go hire a new OC, Holman Wiggins, who was promoted from co-OC and receiver coach to OC, and they had to go look for a DC because their DC coach left. And they went and got Lyle Hemphill, who was promoted from senior assistant and was 2024's JMU's defensive coordinator and safeties coach. So they got a new DC OC, but I think defensively Mike Elko is going to have his fingerprints all over that as the head coach anyway. But Marcel Reed, a lot of guys not sold on him. I'm a lot of guys, by the way. Great athlete. I'm just not sold as a quarterback, to be honest with you. Joe, talk to me about Texas A&M.
Defense is still elite, in my opinion. I think the defense is going to be really good. But like you said, Marcel Reed is the big question for this team. And you called it, too. You know, you called it, too. And it shows in the playoffs. But he got some weapons around him, though. He got some weapons, you know, but they did lose. Casey Concepcion was a big loss, but they got some other guys that I know you're gonna get to it. The returners and transfers on that stuff.
Yep, he sure did. But yeah, I was out, not necessarily out. I just wasn't really as high as everybody else on Marcel Reed, and I think now people are coming around to the other side. They did have a running game though, even though they lost Le'Veon Moss. They still got Amari Daniels and Ruben Owens last season. Now I think it's just down to I want to say now it's just down to Amari Daniels. Which I think recently there was some recent news about Texas A&M running back. I can't necessarily remember if it was like an injury or something. But their running game should be fine. I want to say Emmitt Smith got a son at Texas A&M too.
Oh, it's not.
I'm mistaken. Cause I want to say he was saying something about it when they came back and beat us. But I know that they'll find that running back.
Is he elite?
I mean, you didn't
I'm
really
just
see a lot
wondering.
of them.
You mentioned Emmitt Smith.
Yeah, trust me, I get it. Definitely get it. But Texas, I think Texas A&M will be fine, especially again with Marcel Reed as well being such an athlete, just adding extra pressure to the defense with his legs, and creating more lanes for the running backs, the Aggies. But let's get into the returners. They returned 9 starters, 4 on offense, only 1 O lineman returned, 5 on defense. Mainly again Marcel Reed, a quarterback who went 230 at 4 of 377, 62.1%. Completion percentage 3,169 yards. 25 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. He also added 493 yards on the ground with 6 touchdowns. Mario Craver, a receiver at 59 catches, 917 yards and 4 touchdowns. Ashton Bethel Roman, a receiver at 24 catches, 503 yards and 5 touchdowns. Marcus Ratcliffe, a DB who had 66 total tackles, 33 solos, and 3 pass breakups. Dalton Brooks, shout out Dalton Brooks, man. I don't know if you watched Friday Night Tykes a couple years back, but he was on that show. He's a safety who had 62 total tackles, 42 solos, 4 sacks, a pass breakup, interception, forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. Dez Ricks, who I'm kind of looking towards having a big year at cornerback, 26 total tackles, 23 solos, and 5 pass breakups. TJ Searcy, a DN with 31 total tackles, 13 solos, a sack and a half, and 2 pass breakups. And Damian Sanford, a linebacker with 57 total tackles, 25 solos, 3.5 sacks, 2 pass breakups, an interception, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. Now, they did lose Le'Veon Moss. Was a big loss, but again, I think they'll be fine at the running back position. Again, with Ruben Owens, and I want to say Amari Daniels. I'm not sure though. But Le'Veon Moss had 77 carries, 404 yards, 5.2 carries, 6 touchdowns. Kevin Concepcion, or Casey Concepcion, whatever you want to call him, receiver drafted to the Browns with 61 catches, 919 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Nate Bornkreischer, a tight end on the Jags, who had 19 catches, 198 yards, and 3 touchdowns. They lost Toyin York, linebacker on the Broncos, who had 72 total tackles, 32 solos, a sack, 3 pass breakups, and a fumble recovery. The blanket, Will Lee, now on the Panthers, cornerback who had 50 total tackles, 40 solos, a sack, and 8 pass breakups. Cassius Howell, an edge rusher on the Bengals, 31 total tackles, 20 solos, 11.5 sacks, 6 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. Albert Regis, D tackle on the Jags, who had 49 total tackles, 18 solos, 2 sacks, 3 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. And Tyler Onedium, a D tackle on the Broncos, who had 48 total tackles, 18 solos, 2.5 sacks, and a forced fumble. Anybody when you want to talk about before we get to the transfer portal?
Mario Craver,
Sir.
A big weapon for him right there. Also, I don't know you mentioned all the other stuff, but Ashton Roman Bethel, another weapon. He talked about Ruben Owens too. Like I said, they got weapons, and I got another person I wanted to name, but we ain't go over the transfers yet. Another guy they got from the transfers was another weapon for them, who came from Bama. Well, we're gonna get to it, but he did. Okay, cool. He did. So.
Oh no! I was saying, because you said we're gonna get to it. By the way, EJ Smith actually graduated from Texas A&M. He's in the league trying to make the Chiefs.
Okay. Shout out to him. So yeah, like they got weapons, man. They already got a good defense. We know that for a fact. Texas A&M gonna come out with a great defense. It's all about the offense. Like how can Marcel Reed do his offense? And like I said, like you've been talking about him all year, and then he laid an egg in the playoffs. Right on cue. So.
Amari Daniels is also gone from Texas A&M roster program. So dang, it's just Ruben Owens. But let's get into the transfers, where they had the 10th overall recruiting class, 12th in transfers, bringing in 19 transfers. Yeah, right. Isaiah Horton, huge transfer receiver from Alabama, by way of the Hurricanes 2 years ago. He had 42 catches, 511 yards, 8 touchdowns at Bama. So he's looking to help Marcel Reed out in that aspect. Anto Saka, an edge from Northwestern, who had 13 total tackles, 3 solos, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. I think this is a big pickup here. And Taufik Byard, Kevin Byard's little brother from Colorado, safety, who had 79 total tackles, 58 solos, half a sack, 4 pass breakups, an interception, and 2 forced fumbles. Ray Coney, a linebacker from Tulsa, who had 128 total tackles, 41 solos, 2 sacks, 2 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. And last but not least, Ryan Henderson, an edge from San Diego State, which, if you remember, San Diego State defense last year was elite. The DC is now gone, however, but he had 7 sacks, 22 total tackles, 17 solos, and a pass breakup at San Diego State, looking to replace the Cassius Howell reproduction of last year. Any transfers you want to talk about, Joe?
That's crazy. He had how many sacks?
7.
7, and they got him like third string, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, they must got some. Hey, salute.
Yeah. But shout out to him. But I wanted to talk about like Isaiah Horton from Alabama, and like you said, also Miami. Another weapon they got, man. Another weapon. They put weapons around your boy, man. I mean, this is college. He don't have to be a great quarterback, you know. Who's the offensive coordinator for them?
Holman Wiggins.
Do you know his background?
I mean, he was a co-OC last year, so he wasn't really
OC. And so now he's just the OC.
Now it's the OC. So it's an in-house promotion.
Who was the OC last year?
I don't remember, to be honest with you, but I can look it up real quick.
Yeah, but it all comes down to Marcel Reed, literally.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a good defense. You got weapons around you. It's up to him.
It was Colin Klein. Oh, snap. Colin Klein. That's why they got a new OC, because Colin Klein took the K-State job. Why did I thought Colin Klein was always with K-State in some aspect, and then he got promoted within? But no, it was Colin Klein. It was a good OC. He was actually a Big 12, all Big 12 quarterback. Not first team. I think it was like all Big 12, second or third.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember watching Colin Klein in, like, I think high school or college.
Shout out to CTC.
Yeah, salute to Colin Klein, man. Loved him at K-State. I love Ricky Waters at K-State too. I think that was his name. I think Waters played with Tyler Lockett. But yeah, let's get into some numbers real quick. Again, now the head coach is the same, but both coordinators got overhauled. Again, Colin Klein took the OC job. I can't remember where they DC went, but anyway, they're 23rd in total offense, 18th in total defense, 19th in scoring offense, 36th in total scoring defense, 30th in passing, 16th in pass defense, 30th in rushing, 40th in rush defense, tied 53rd in third down percentage conversion on offense, first and third down conversion percentage on defense, tied 90th in red zone offense, 126th in red zone defense, second in team sacks. Without further ado, Joe, you ready for the schedule?
Let's get it.
We're going to start with at Mo State. Well, at home against Mo State. I got this as a win.
W.
All right. Then from at home against Mo State, we will take it on to at home versus Arizona State, where I have this as a win.
W.
All right. From Arizona State, we go at home against Kentucky, where I have this as a win.
W.
All right. From Kentucky to at LSU, where I have this as their first loss.
L.
All right. From LSU, we move on to at home against Arkansas, where I have this as a win.
W.
Jay Bateman left for Kentucky, by the way. That was ADC last year. From Arkansas to Mizzou, at Mizzou, I have this as a win.
L.
Oh, you got him. Oh, that's right. You like Mizzou. We
Yeah.
move from Mizzou to the Citadel, where I have this as a win.
I actually got it as a loss.
Yeah, you have this
No,
as a
it's a
win.
W.
We'll move on to at Alabama, where I have this as a loss at Alabama.
Yeah, L. Alabama.
All right, from Tuscaloosa to Columbia, South Carolina, where I have them taking back-to-back L's.
Ooh, W. That's right, I forgot.
All right, from South Carolina to back home against Tennessee, I have this as a W.
W.
Then I have them losing out the last two. I have them losing at Oklahoma and then at home against Texas.
Same.
So I have Texas A&M finishing 7-5, 4-5, taking the under 8.5.
7-5, 4-5.
So we're both on the under 8.5 for Texas A&M.
We got them taking a step back.
Yes, sir. All right, and the last team of the night. Man, I've been up for almost 24 hours.
Dog. I gotta work. It's funny because I gotta be work at 6:15 tomorrow.
Oh, man, I ain't gotta be at work at 9, but I gotta be up at like 7:20.
Yeah.
Traffic and all that. But we got Vanderbilt. Now, Vanderbilt does have a quarterback battle. They did not go in the portal and get a quarterback. They said, hey, Pavia, we appreciate you being a transfer quarterback, but you're a transfer bridge. We want to have our own talent here. and they got a battle between 5-star freshman Jared Curtis, which, by the way, I thought I never would say that Vanderbilt has a 5-star freshman quarterback in my life.
First time in their history.
I'm about to say, and veteran Blaze Berlowitz, which I really don't know too much about, to be honest with you. I mean, with Pavia being there, he didn't really get too much burn. He might have got some burn. I just don't remember it. And I'm not going to lie to y'all, act like I do. Now, if you had to ask me, again, I more so tend to, they're going to go to the 5-star quarterback, in my opinion. Because, I mean, you got him because you think that he's super talented. I think the vet wins if the competition is close. But if the young guy is what they think he is, I think they go with the young guy. But talking about Vanderbilt last year, it was just an amazing road to watch. Vanderbilt was super exciting. Pavia, super exciting to watch. Toughness, celebrations. I know he got under a lot of people's skin, pissed a lot of people off. I will say that the Heisman thing he did was distasteful, to be real. But beyond that,
at the club,
yeah, that was kind of distasteful. But beyond that, I had fun watching Pavia at Vandy these past 2 years, and especially last year. Again, they went 10 games, which I think that was a record for Vanderbilt in itself for the most wins in the regular season. They became ranked. They stayed ranked for a while. Now, they did lose the bowl game to the Iowa in the Iowa Quest Bowl, and I'm not going to lie. The score does not implicate how bad Iowa dominated Vanderbilt. The final score was 34-27. Iowa at one point, they just were not letting Vanderbilt score. Vanderbilt found something late and was able to capitalize, but Iowa was just stifling Vanderbilt at first. But nonetheless, Vandy was super, super fun to watch, and it was just carried by Pavia, Stowers, and Cedric Alexander on the offensive end. Joe, talk to me about Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I mean, the QB battle with Vanderbilt is what I'm looking at, and I'm hoping this 5-star recruit gets it, And like you said, it's the first time they got a 5-star quarterback to join this team. It's big. And shout out to Diego Pavia. Like, you talked about him 2 years ago. I think when he first came on the scene, you was talking about
New
him.
Mexico State.
Yeah, okay. And then, and back-to-back years, he put Vandy on the map, basically. And he played with passion. And I feel like he's more like a college quarterback. I feel like he could be successful, like good if you put a team around him, NFL quarterback, if he get his opportunities. But I feel like he was a really good college quarterback. I didn't like what he did either in the club, especially to the person he did it to. Like Mendoza is like, bro, like the nicest quarterback I've seen, dog.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So. But he's humble now because is he even on the team right now?
I don't think he is. I know we cut him a while ago. I don't think he's on the team right now.
So he might.
I want to say no. I legit want to say no.
Yeah, I'm hoping this Jared Curtis kid gets a job because I'm hearing that he's very talented, a lot of raw talent with him.
Yeah, I'm hoping he get it too. Now, with that being said, I'm not the highest on Vanderbilt this year. I think Pavia took Vanderbilt past heights that even Vanderbilt didn't see themselves reaching. Again, 10 wins last year was the most in school history in the season. And then he also beat the number one school in Bama. Well, Vandy beat Bama as him as the quarterback 2 years ago, which was the first time ever that they did that. Like, he was just breaking records and, again, taking them to the heights Vandy didn't even see happening. They had Vandy at one point thinking that they was a playoff team. And, I mean, I don't blame them for thinking that, to be real. But, again, a lot of people, if you were new to football, college football, and you watch Vandy, you would think, oh, Vandy's this team that's just been really good. No, they've been really bad. And I mean really, really bad. Like, super bad. Like, the bottom of the SEC bad. And now, like, Indiana bad. Like, Indiana's a terrible football school. Not until Cignetti came. That was Vanderbilt. But now, there's a light at the end of the tunnel from Vanderbilt. And hopefully it's not a train. But anyway, Vanderbilt returns 10 starters, 5 on offense, 5 on defense. Only 1 O-lineman returns from last year's team. The big starter that returns is Cedric Alexander, the running back. 505 carries, 567 yards, 5.4 carry, 11 touchdowns. He also had 19 catches for 200 yards and 4 receiving touchdowns. Junior Sherrill, a receiver with 54 catches, 784 yards and 7 touchdowns. Cole Spence, a tight end who had 15 catches, 233 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Gabe Fisher, a fullback. I mean, big for them. But he also had 2 catches for 6 yards in within that. They also returned C.J. Hurd, a safety who had 71 total tackles, 46 solos, 2 sacks, 3 pass breakups, a pick, and a forced fumble and a fumble recovery. Brian Longwell, a linebacker with 70 total tackles, 36 solos, a sack, 2 pass breakups, and a pick. Martel Height, a cornerback who had 35 total tackles, 25 solos, 2 pass breakups, and 4 interceptions. Miles Capers, an edge rusher with 37 total tackles, 17 solos, 4.5 sacks, a pass breakup, forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. And Glenn Seabrooks III, a D lineman with 19 total tackles, 9 solos, and a pass breakup. Diego Pavia, when we start with the losses, is a huge loss. Quarterback with 267 and 378, 70.6% completion percentage, 3,539 yards, 29 touchdowns to 8 picks, 862 yards and 10 rushing touchdowns. Trey Richardson, who transferred to Louisville, a receiver who had 46 catches, 806 yards and 7 touchdowns. Eli Stowers, huge loss because he followed Pavia from New Mexico State over to Vanderbilt. He was his tight end when they both made the Conference USA Championship game, but lost to Liberty. He's on the Eagles. He had 62 catches, 769 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Richie Hoskins, a receiver who had 28 catches, 321 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He had 69 total tackles, 27 solos, and a forced fumble to the Cowboys. Randon Fontenette, a defensive back who transferred to Colorado, which kind of surprising. 52 total tackles, 31 solos, 6 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. Marlon Sewell, safety who had 52 total tackles, 28 solos, half a sack, 2 pass breakups on the Bears. And Corday Signor, a D tackle on the Browns, who had 30 total tackles, 11 solos, 3.5 sacks, 3 pass breakups, and a fumble recovery. Oh, lastly, Kobe Taylor, cornerback, 25 total tackles, 23 solos, 3 pass breakups, a pick, and a fumble recovery. Anybody want to talk about before we get to the transfers?
Let's get to the transfers.
All right. Well, they had the 31st overall recruiting class, 34th in transfers with 18. Javante Connor, a tight end from ECU, transferred in who had 23 catches, 333 yards, and 3 touchdowns, trying to take over that Eli Stowers role. Ricardo Jones, a safety from Clemson, 39 total tackles, 25 solos, 3 pass breakups, 6 interceptions, and a fumble recovery. Ja'Cory Thomas, a receiver from Old Dominion, who had 41 catches, 719 yards, and 5 touchdowns. And Taylon Carter, a D lineman from, I love my Jack State boys. Hopefully, they can get a Conference USA title. Been to the last 2 Conference USA title games, one 2 years ago, lost last year. He had 57 total tackles, 28 solos, a sack and a half, and 2 pass breakups. Any transfer you wanted to talk about?
Not really, but they went to work on the defensive side of the ball, though. They definitely went to work on the defensive side of the ball. Getting Kobe Sellers was a big one right there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so from Texas A&M, whenever you get somebody from Texas A&M, that's a win.
Yeah, I can feel that, especially being at Vandy. I sometimes caution that, though, in terms of like a player from a big school going to a not so big school, because I'm like, why is that? Were you not as talented? Did somebody catch on? Were you just a guy who was given a scholarship based on potential? Because some guys do that. They have traits. They have the height, the weight, all that.
Oh, yeah. You see that like drive every year.
Yeah, and then they're like, we could teach him the game, but he got stuff we can't teach.
Yeah.
And it just don't work out. But some numbers about Vanderbilt: they were 9th in total offense, 58th in total defense, 8th in scoring offense, tied 47th in scoring defense, 9th in passing, 116th in pass defense, 47th in rushing, 18th in rush defense, 6th in third down conversion percentage on offense, 108th on third down conversion percentage on defense, tied 39th in red zone offense, and tied 50th in red zone defense. And one number I should have looked up, which I could probably look up real quick, is their 4th down percentage. I feel like they went for a good amount of 4th downs last year, especially with Pavia. Clark Lee had a lot of trust in him to go for it. And I would be surprised if they're not in at least the top 20. Let's see. They are not in the top 20, actually. Well, I guess me not doing it was a good thing, because I don't even see them in the top 50. But we'll move on. That's an L on me. To the schedule, Joe. You ready to knock out the last 10 schedule?
Let's get it, man.
First game at home against Austin Peay. I think it's Austin Peay State, but we'll just say Austin Peay. I have this as a win.
Win.
Then at home against Delaware, I have this as a win.
Win.
At home against NC State, I love you, CJ Bailey. I got this as a win for Vandy.
W.
This is where it gets ugly. I have a loss here at Auburn.
Loss.
At Georgia, I have a loss.
Loss.
At home against Ole Miss, I have a loss.
Loss.
At home against Arkansas, this is a swing
W.
game, but I have this as a loss. Now, if they win this game,
I got W.
if they win this game, we might be working with something. But I have it as a loss. But at Kentucky, I have it as a win.
I got an L.
At Mississippi State, I have it as a win.
W.
And then I have them losing out the last three at home against Bama, on the road against Florida, and at home against Tennessee.
Same.
So I have Vanderbilt being 5-7, 2-7, taking the under 5.5 win total.
Same. 5-7, 2-7.
But if they win that Arkansas game for me, they could possibly make a bowl game. But yeah, I think they had their highest of heights, and now it's time for that roller coaster because it's about to get real low. But Joe, we have made it to the SEC wrap up.
Woo!
We have our standings, so I'm gonna give my standings first.
That's good.
You'll give them second. So the number one team, the SEC, on mine is LSU.
Yeah.
LSU gets the number one seed off a tiebreaker win against Georgia. I had them 11-1, 8-1, and their win is against Georgia. But the number two seed in my SEC standings is Georgia at 11-1, 8-1. The number three seed, Texas, at 11-1, 8-1. 4 seed, Alabama at 10-2, 7-2. 5 seed, Ole Miss at 10-2, 7-2. 6 seed, Oklahoma at 8-4, 6-3. 7 seed, because of the tiebreaker of beating South Carolina, I have Tennessee at 7-5, 5-4. 8 seed is South Carolina at 8-4, 5-4. 9th seed is Auburn at 7-5, 4-5. 10th seed, Texas A&M at 7-5, 4-5. 11th is Florida, 7-5, 4-5. 12th is Arkansas, 4-8, 2-7. 13th is Vandy because of the tiebreaker, 5-7, 2-7. 14th is Mizzou, 4-8, 1-8. Kentucky is 15th at 3-9, 1-8, and last is Mississippi State at 2-10, 0-9.
All right. Number one, Texas, 12-0. Number 2, 9-0. I'm sorry.
You gotta say the conference record for sure, because that's how it goes.
You're right. 9-0. Okay. Georgia, number 2, 9-0. 3, LSU, 7-2. 4, Oklahoma, 7-2. 5, Bama, 6-3. 6, Ole Miss, 5-4. Mizzou, 7, 5-4. Tennessee, 8, 5-4. Florida, 9th, 4-5. Texas A&M is 10 with 4-5. 11 is South Carolina with 4-5. Kentucky is 12 with 2-7. Kentucky is 12. Oh, sorry, Auburn is 13 with 2-7. Vanderbilt is 14 with 2-7. Missouri, is that Missouri? No, Missouri. Mississippi State. Mississippi State, number 15, 1-8, and Arkansas last place.
Ooh, you got Ryan Silverfield starting bad. Hey, Ryan Silverfield gonna look at you like, what's my record against SEC teams? But it's all great. Well, now, shoes at Memphis. But SEC championship, I got 2 seed Georgia taking on 1 seed LSU at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, where Georgia wins the SEC for the 3rd straight year.
Oh man! I got Texas winning against Georgia. Texas versus Georgia.
Okay. My offensive player of the year, Joe. When you said it, I said that's my player of the year. Sam Levitt, quarterback LSU.
He was. I can see that.
My defensive player of the year, Colin Simmons, edge rusher, Texas.
Oh, okay. So, this is funny, man. Now, My
Offensive player of the year.
my offensive player of the year is Arch Manning.
I was going to have Arch Manning if y'all made my SEC championship, but
See,
unfortunately, y'all didn't.
I had what's the name? The
Sam
person
Levitt.
Sam Levitt, he was probably second on my list. Cause I feel like with Lane Kiffin, he's gonna have some good numbers.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna have some good numbers. But so look, when it comes to these awards, like it normally goes to like the top records.
Yeah, pretty much. Best record. I mean, numbers too do matter, but I mean, you can't be like mid tier and have great numbers and get player of the year. Because like player of the year, well, receiver of the year, for example, in Big Ten went to Jeremiah Smith, which still makes no sense to me because Kyle Lemon won the Biletnikoff, which is the best receiver in the nation.
Okay, because the person I see the person I kind of hinted it. I got David Stone, but the thing is, I got Oklahoma going. Okay, I got them going 9-3. He could probably win it, right? Or nah? I got Oklahoma finishing fourth in the SEC though.
If Texas is going to go undefeated, Colin Simmons is probably going to go crazy.
It's good, man. I mean, I ain't mad at that. But I'm gonna still say David Stone though. I try to pick somebody that's not obvious. I forgot who I picked last year.
I think I had Dylan Stewart, defensive player of the year.
I think I had Dylan Stewart too.
I think we had Garrett Nussmeier, offensive player of the year.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go with him.
Yeah, that notebook is at the crib. But Joe, that is the end of the 2026 SEC football preview. If you have been with us with this entire episode, first of all, shout out to you. Appreciate you for being here. Hopefully, you don't go to work tired like we will tomorrow. But Joe, your last words.
Hey, Carl, man, appreciate you for having me. You know, 3 hours and 50 minutes as we speak, and yeah, man, it's 2:12 in the morning over here, and I just want to say that y'all see my boy Carl committed, man. Carl is a committed guy to this college stuff, so make sure y'all continue to tune in. And if you don't like what he's saying, hit him up in the comment section. He will definitely respond to you. But if you like what he says, show him some love and let him know in the comment section. But that's what I got for y'all.
That is true, man. When I got a team going good, it'd be crickets. I will say though, the ACC, I had a couple of people shout out, or in the Big Ten, like some Minnesota was like, "Oh man, y'all know about the program." Like I was like, "Yeah, cool." Like somebody giving us our respect. But when I got a team going bad, oh, y'all don't know nothing. Y'all ain't do no research. But I had somebody tell me that Maryland gonna be good because they got a lot of NFL. Not a lot, but they got receiver NFL talent coming in. Like they're not in the same conference as Ohio State and Michigan, and they actually, I think they play. I know they play Indiana. Like, come on, bro, y'all not the only school in the Big Ten that got NFL talent. Like, knock it off. But definitely appreciate your time for sure being on this episode. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 300, and then we're trying to get to 400, and so on and so forth. More content will be dropping. I will be breaking this up soon, but the Pac-12 has already started to be broken up and released. I got a short real soon about quarterbacks as well that's currently in the collegiate game. I actually will. Funny enough, I talked about the Big 12 quarterbacks and who's the best, and now I saw someone on Google how they rank in Big 12 quarterbacks. Coincidence? I don't believe in those, but we also got multiple shows on the network, man. I'm gonna fly through them real quick because I know it's late. We have the main show featuring me and your boy Tomo. We are off this week, but next week we're back at full force. No, we're not actually back at full force. We got division panels at full force next week. So you definitely want to tune into those. Those are gonna be fun. But we normally go live Monday and Thursdays at 7 to 8:30. We got RBO Vaughn, who just dropped the episode. He does the NBA, and now he's doing more WNBA content, so be on the lookout for that. We got BWT, man. I don't know when he's going to drop, but when he drops, just be on the lookout for it for all your baseball needs. We got FCC, football with Coach Coombs. Football's around the corner, especially the NFL. Fantasy football drafts are probably going on right now. Joe, when is our fantasy football draft?
Not sure yet, but it's gonna be after the preseason.
I figured, which is smart.
And people that's watching, encourage Carl to join our league.
I have my agent get in touch with you, but yeah, be on the lookout. I know Coach is not doing just fantasy football stuff, but he loves talking fantasy football, so it'll be more part of his football content now because we're right around the corner from the season. We got Dave's Doghouse highlights and lowlights of sports, so make sure you check that out. We got In the Red Corner, man, featuring Ty, Ricky, and Tomo for all your boxing needs. Check out In the Red Corner. They just went live this past Sunday, and I think they're going to live against this Sunday, which is very rare. So make sure you check them out with that. We got family to the show, AJ's Bird. So make sure you check out AJ's Birds as well if you're an Eagles fan. But I believe that's we got Zero Sports Talk with Griffey. My fault, Griffey. Which, by the way, he hit me and said he might be doing a show Saturday. So y'all might want to tune into that. Griffey also might be on this podcast again this Sunday because me and my boy Ace Sunday at 1:00 will be giving you our 10 teams to look out for in the group of 5. I did Power 5 group of 5 this year. Next year might be Power 4 group of 6. But either way, I got 5 teams written down. I got to figure out 5 more teams, and I got to figure out 2 more champions. But, we'll be ready Sunday at 1:00 for sure. Just don't know if I'll have 2 or 3 guests. But those are all the shows we have on our network. So please like, comment, share, subscribe to them as well so we can all grow as one big family unit. And with that being said, man, I'll be back Sunday. Joe, man, again, appreciate you being here.
Yes, sir.
But like that, man, it's been 4 hours. We're gone. Peace.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.